It's Friday, August 14th, 2026. Let's start off by reminding everybody that you can go to supportourshow.com if you'd like to support our show at a .com. You will find support options there, and you can avail yourself of whichever ones make the most sense to you. I don't generally specifically call it the Patreon, but I will. Patreon.com/OzoneNightmare. You can join for free, and anything that's there is available to everybody at the same tier. So you don't have to pay to be on Patreon. Even though it kind of sounds like it when you say like Patreon, like you have to pay. But no, you don't. It's just a way to, I mean, you can. Some people do. And I think that's it. Programming notes. Let's see. I may change. Well, I shouldn't say. Okay. So there's a late night coming out for September. There will be a late night coming out for November. Wait, sorry. I keep skipping October. September, yes. October, yes. What I might start doing is splitting the double features into two parts. That sort of makes sense to me. And that way it's not a huge time sink for most people because, and of course, I thought, oh, well, now that I'm not doing clips anymore, we probably, meaning Doug and I, will probably not be talking for as long. Nope, 3.5 hours. So eliminating clips will only really save time on the edit side for me because I won't have to put stuff in there. But in fact, has had little to no impact on the show duration. So I may start splitting those into two parts unless, now that's a couple months off. So if you prefer them as one part, please let me know. I'll leave them as one part. But it does seem like maybe a 3.5 hour long show in one shot is not necessarily the best thing for everybody. I do tend to forget, as happens, that most people probably use a podcast app that lets you pause and resume, but not everybody does it that way. And if you're streaming it and you have to remember, okay, was I at 1 hour and 40 minutes or was it 2 hours and 10 minutes? Whereas maybe a part 1 and a part 2 might be more digestible and easier for people. So it really doesn't matter to me, again, because the clips aren't involved anymore. So now it's just as easy for me to split it into two parts and not have any impact. So, unless I hear some kind of overwhelming opinion that says, no, keep them as one, I'm probably going to start dividing them into two and do like a part 1, part 2. It also make the storage impact on the shows a little easier. And it means that I can actually edit part 1 and release it and still be working on part 2 as opposed to trying to get it all done in one shot. So it would lighten it a little bit on me. But again, if people do seem to prefer it in one shot. Now, again, to be very specific, part 1 and part 2, each part would be a movie. I'm not splitting the movie reviews themselves into parts. That I would never do. No, that would bug me. I will not do anything to others. That would bug me. So I'm only talking about, for example, the next one is Big Trouble in Little China and The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. And so part 1 would be Big Trouble in Little China. Part 2 would be Buckaroo Banzai. Or I think it's the other way around. I think we did Buckaroo Banzai first. But whichever. Each movie would be the part. Just want to be extraordinarily clear on that because lately, more than a few times, I have heard phrasing that is confusing to say the least. So I wanted to make sure I specify that. But the September and October ones will be are not double features, so those will just be single episodes of wildly different duration. The September late night with Jason Howell is a little over an hour. The October late night with Aunt Pruitt is, I think, 3 and change. So there is that. I'm not splitting any of that stuff. And I think that's it. Is that it? Programming notes. Yes, that's it, programming notes wise. I don't think there's anything else, assuming that is of interest to anybody. But that is all that I think is of interest in terms of the programming notes itself. Yeah, I think that's... Yes, that is it. That is it. Oh, I should seed this ahead of time. Let me get the date. Where's the dates? There is a live episode of the book club over on the Twit Network that is coming up towards the end of the month, which I am planning on being part of. And that one, you can actually catch it live on YouTube and Twitch and other places. So if you're interested, let me just verify the date. I believe it is the next to last Friday of the month, but I want to get that date just in case anybody cares. And this is the book club, not the media club. I will be part of that too, because they've picked a bad movie for that one, Troll 2. So, spoiler alert for you, Lando, we're going to be watching Troll 2, one of the most notorious of all bad movies, one that had a movie made about it being such a bad movie. So we will be watching that at some point. I have another bad movie to pair with that, which will be, I think, delightfully stupid.
Not the hotel. That's not the one in the apartment building, is it?
No, you're thinking of Demons 2.
No. There is a troll movie. One of the troll movies.
Well, there's a bunch of troll movies.
I know, but one of them is in a house where it's like everybody.
Okay, you said apartment and house. Those are two different things.
Yeah. It's like a house, but everyone has.
All right. Yes, it's in a house, not an apartment. Because Demons 2 is in an apartment building. So that's why I thought you were, and that's also kind of seen as a lesser Italian film. So you were mixing me up. But yes, Troll 2 takes place in a house, not an apartment building.
Okay, then it's not the one I saw. Got it.
Yeah. So the date of that is... Come on. Here it is. Friday, August 21st at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to tune into that. And then the Media Club episode, which will be about Troll 2, is... Oh, that was not till September. So I'll announce that when we get closer. So yeah, Friday, August 21st, I will be on the book club, 2 p.m. Pacific time. And that's it. Now I am done with show notes. There are no more show notes. I assume you had no show notes.
I don't run the show.
No. Someday you might bring a note.
No. I don't have any notes for the actual show.
You might have a notation of some kind.
No, I'm not involved in the structure. I don't have my own show. No.
Neither am I. All right. I have something to open with. I finally finished Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl.
Oh, the game.
Which I've been playing for quite a while. Yes, the game.
Yeah, you have. Jesus, I totally forgot about that.
Well, there was a technical issue for a while that I fixed, which was related to sound. It required me to buy a little box called a DAC to fix a buzzing noise that was present when that game was running, because apparently, even if you buy a very good video card, there's a good chance that if it's not shielded properly, you will eventually start getting some background noise. And the easiest way to solve that is to get a DAC, which is a digital audio converter. And that generally eliminates most background noise. And in my case, it made it crystal clear. So
I am so glad that I stopped bothering with computer games.
Well, I mean, it's not a problem with every game, and it doesn't always happen. So it's just bad luck. In any event, once that was fixed, I got back into the game. And the game, I'm going to spoil some aspects of it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I put this warning in the 5 during the week saying, hey, I'm going to talk about the details. I gave vague hints so that those who had finished the game would know what I was talking about, but I kept specifics out because this is still relatively new, and I don't want to blow the game for people who want to enjoy it because it is a wonderful game. But essentially, this is probably the best sequel, video game-wise, I have played with a significant amount of time passing from the first game to this one that managed to recapture what made the first one unique and interesting. And there has never been a game, until this one.
It is so funny that you're fucking talking about this. Jesus Christ. So, before you continue, I just want to tell you why. Right before the show, I was thinking about Wildlands, because they recently released that anniversary edition update, and we started playing Wildlands again. And I was thinking about how we really enjoy that game, and how I think one of us said at the point, like, why don't they just make this game again, like a game like this, you know? And I was thinking about how there's this element where you're like, oh, they don't make games like they used to, but it's not even like that. It's like there are certain games that come out where you're like, God, the layout for this and the way it was structured was so good that, like, why did they feel the need to change it? You know, and it's that kind of thing with, like, with sequels, they try to hold on to elements that made the first one good, but they always want to try and push the envelope, right? And sometimes in pushing the envelope, they kind of ruin what made the first game so good, right? But I find of late, I really wish they would just take take what worked and just make the game, like, don't like throw new technologies on our new mechanics. Just take the mechanics that you've already got and make another game. Make another, you know, like in Wildlands case, make another country. You know, like, you don't need to, because when they did, what was it, what's it called with the island? We just call it the island one, but is that Wildland? It's not even Wildlands.
Oh, Breakpoint.
Breakpoint. Yeah, with Breakpoint, they added this gear score shit, and they did all this stuff where you were like, well, it's Wildlands, but it's not. And then they put it on this island, and later on, they made it so you could turn off the gear score. And suddenly it felt more like playing Wildlands, closer than it ever did before. But it gets back to the point of, just take the mechanics that you've already got. But they can never do that. And I don't understand necessarily why I know they always want to wow you with whatever fucking new special thing there is. But I think there's a market for people who just would, it's like, if they made another...
And the baffling part is, Far Cry's done it, and we've enjoyed every one.
Yeah.
It's all the same formula.
It's the same... it's basically the same mechanics as well. And you're like, I liked playing it. I'll just play another storyline in another place, set with these same mechanics. And I'm only bringing this up because you talked about how S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, the game, managed to hold on to the key elements that you liked from the first game, and then expand upon them or add new material that was worth it. Like, we return to your review. Go on.
Yeah, well, that is the thing, is that the closest there have been many attempts to revisit older properties, and I'm being specific here because what's different about stuff like like the game S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, the original S.T.A.L.K.E.R game is, I believe, 20 years old. I think the first one came out in, I want to say 2005. That's Shadow of Chernobyl. There were two games that followed it, one a prequel, one a sequel.
Yeah. That
were relatively close to it, but neither one was seen as 2007, so nearly 20 years ago. So there was S.T.A.L.K.E.R Clear Sky, which most people do not like. I don't hate it, but it's definitely almost a DLC, really, more than anything. It does not add anything to the story. It's kind of pointless. It was a cash-in more than anything. Not a bad game, but it really didn't tell you anything. And then they did Call of Pripyat in... What year was that? That was in 2009. Well, I guess 2010 is when it got to the States, but it was actually first released in 2009. That's a sequel. I remember liking that game, but again, it wasn't the first game. The first game is its own thing, and there's never been another game, until S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, that ever got that feeling. And it's very specific, because it can be a very punishing game.
Yeah, I remember.
But that's because it's being realistic. The punishment goes both ways. Whereas, if you get hit in the face, you die instantly. Doesn't matter what armor you're wearing. If your face is exposed and somebody shoots you in it, you're dead.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Yeah, so you're talking about guns, not just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was playing by brutal rules, but those brutal rules applied for everybody. So if you shot a heavily armored guy in the face, he fell down too. That was it. It's not like they had invisible shields and stuff like that for the most part. And when they did, it was because you were in a mystical zone or whatever. But it's very rare. The things that, and the world was very unforgiving, but it was also very random. So you could walk somewhere and get attacked by something and be dead in 2 seconds because a mutant shreds you. Yeah. But then when you reloaded, you might walk and it'd be sunny and Kermit would be on a log singing about it's not easy being green. You would just walk to your objective. So it was a dice roll. Great game. I mean, I have such vivid memories of that game, as many people who really love it do. So the sequel was taking forever. A lot of people thought it would never materialize. And it was developed in Ukraine.
Yeah, to be fair, they were developing it in Ukraine during an armed conflict.
Well, it started like 10 years ago, so this is well before the conflict. But you're correct that it was finished, and in fact, one of the voice actors was killed in action.
Oh, shit.
So there's a notation in the credits saying, died for our freedom, and there's like a little thing about the person. So yes, literally people died for this game, or died for their country making this game. So it is a miracle, really, that it got finished as well as it got finished, which it is a very put-together game. It's not like you can tell that 60% of the way through, suddenly everybody was on the front lines and the game just turns into claymation or something. It's a complete game. So the only real criticisms I have for it, well, the only criticism is the original never really had a boss battle per se. You didn't really fight bosses. It was kind of a level thing all the way through. There were definitely overwhelming troops and stuff like that. That was the challenge. But there was never a point where you came up to some kind of giant venomized Hulk thing that would, start wailing on you and be a bullet sponge. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 has a couple of boss battles. Not many. I think there's maybe 3 total. One of which makes sense in being like the original game. It's a very large mutant, and therefore it takes a lot more damage. I understand that. That's okay. But then there are 2 humans who basically do have kind of portable shields. And those boss battles stuck out because they didn't feel organically integrated into the game. Now, they're very easy to get around. Set the difficulty to easy. Shoot these people with a shotgun. They die quick. Put it back to normal.
Can you switch back and forth like
on
that?
The fly? Yep,
oh, wow.
Which is great.
Okay.
Yes. So I have a feeling they may have known that some people were not going to gel with this particular thing. Again, different players might enjoy that challenge. That's fine. Then leave it on normal or veteran or whatever you said it. I did not. I just immediately, I tried it a couple times and said, yeah, I don't want to do this. I did this with Death Stranding as well. The first Death Stranding, you may remember, if you remember my review, I said that when you got to the World War I trench battles, I was like, this does not make sense. I'm saying this on super easy. I want to just blow through this. I don't care. And I did the same thing. So as long as that option exists,
yeah, it all goes to the idea of, what you are into a game for. And I don't want a game to fucking make me want to smash my head on a wall. So whatever, you play it how you got to play it.
Yes. But also, like I said, the thing that makes it stick out in this game is that so much of it is being kind of lured into a sense of comfort. That, okay, my gun's reloaded, I've got armor, and then you just kind of start to get absorbed into the world, and you just listen to the... Because there are long stretches of really tranquil, beautiful kind of desolation. Very Fallout 76 early day style, where you're walking along and you just hear leaves kind of blowing. You look up and the sky is kind of a weird orange because you're in this weird zone, but it's not necessarily threatening. It's just kind of alien.
It's like Fallout 76. There are points in that game where you can just stop and be like, oh my God, this is really pretty. And then, fucking zombie tries to eat your brain.
S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is launch version of Fallout 76, but about 10 times better in terms of what, I don't know how they do it, but these developers figured out in 2 games, which is astonishing if you can do it in 1, how to create this very specific atmosphere where you never feel safe, but you can feel comfortable in your unsettled world, which is fascinating. So, the game has 4 endings, each that is quite different. So this isn't just this is a good kind of reference point to the idea of revisiting a game much later. Deus Ex Human Revolution came around. It may have been 20 years after. When was DXHR? Hold on, let me see. What year was that game? Deus Ex Human Revolution came out in 2011. So that was 11 years after the first one. First game came out in June of 2000. So that's over a decade later. Now, I love Deus Ex Human Revolution. It's one of my favorite games. It's just a wonderful art style. I think it did try to be a logical prequel to the original Deus Ex that largely works. But it also had a problem with boss fights that made no sense until they updated them later to make it possible to non-lethally kill each boss, because the whole point of the original Deus Ex games and the Deus Ex series is supposed to be the choice, and you can play non-lethally. And you could play all of DXHR non-lethally until the bosses, which you had to kill. And people were like, this is stupid, because they had outsourced the boss battles to another studio to finish the game on time.
Oh, so like the game was good, then you'd get to the fucking boss fights and be like, this is a different game.
It was like it looked like the same game, but it did not act like it. So that was one of the big complaints. So boss battles can be tricky. And then when you got to the end of Human Revolution, the ending was literally a button press. You got to a panel of 3 buttons, and you pressed a button to choose an ending, which a lot of people didn't work. Now, I'm not as big I don't hate that as much as some people do. It's not I wouldn't call it the most graceful way to handle it, but it's hardly the worst. And at least you still have options. Now, in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, it does have the boss battle problem, but it absolutely does not have the ending problem. The ending has multiple points where you can thread one way or another. And they are identified. Some people might be annoyed by that. It did not bother me. So you will get a choice that comes up. And it will make it clear who will like and dislike that option. But it happens in layers. So it's not literally you press one button and now you're locked in. You have to do a couple of things. And if you do one thing one way and one thing the other, it changes which ending you're heading towards, which I think is great. Some people would say, well, it should be invisible. But I don't know that I agree with that, because if you don't know what your choices are actually doing, and I don't mean doing as far as the ending, but doing for even factions or who, because there are points where you might think your option is actually helping one group, but it's not really. I don't have any issue with making that clear to the player so that they know intentionally who they're helping. That makes sense to me. Could they have done it a little more organically or made it more like a dialogue option? And they do sort of, without the big yellow buttons. Sure. That's an aesthetic thing. I don't care. So, in the original game, if you never played it, you play as a character named S.T.A.L.K.E.R. And S.T.A.L.K.E.R is this character who gets caught in a lightning storm and experiences the old bugaboo of amnesia. Wakes up, no idea who he is. And you run into this shady character who, I mean, somewhat shady. In a world like this, everybody is shady to a degree. But you run into this individual who is clearly a opportunist type of person. And, you know, he's basically like, all right, well, you have no money and no nothing. I found you. I kept you alive, so you're going to work for me for a little bit. And as the story goes on, you find out that there was this... The Chernobyl incident happened. It created this weird zone called the Zone. And as you go through it, what you eventually realize, or what you come to realize, is that, because when you wake up, you have a PDA that says, kill S.T.A.L.K.E.R, right? But you don't know you're S.T.A.L.K.E.R at the beginning. You think they call you the marked one because you have this weird tattoo that says Stalker, which stands for something. I don't remember what it is, but it's something specific to the world. And then eventually you figure out that, you were brainwashed into wanting to destroy, like being a secret agent almost, for this group of scientists who wanted to tap into the planetary subconscious called the noosphere, but they kind of fucked it up. And in doing so, this is the first one. This is the first one.
Okay.
No, this is the first game. But when they did it, they messed up, and you'll find out later it's partially because one of the in this game, in 2, you find out one of the scientists kind of bailed and didn't tell anybody and didn't take part, which probably helped trigger this whole thing because he wasn't confident that he wouldn't die. And so in the first game, you just know something went wrong, and the incident was triggered, and the zone was created. And these beings, eventually, what you end up with is one of 3 options, because much like the S.T.A.L.K.E.R movie, as you're in the game, you hear, and everybody believes, that the center of the reactor is a wish granter. That if you can reach that thing, you can have anything you want.
Quay.
Interestingly, though...
Get to the reactor.
Exactly.
Get to the reactor. Start the reactor. You are what you do.
Yeah. Like that. But no guy stuck inside of another guy in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 1. So... Again, if you just start to logic it a little bit, you think about, well, everybody's heard that there's a wish granter, yet we don't hear about anybody who's had a wish granted and came out and was like, yay, it's great.
It's a good point, because even in the movie, the only person who's ever had a wish maybe granted was that other stalker, right?
Porcupine, who then killed himself.
Yes, exactly, right?
Yes.
Has anybody else had a wish granted?
No. Not that we find out in the movie, and in the game, no.
Wow.
So.
Got it.
In the game,
yes,
the very end, you go to the Chernobyl reactor. And essentially, you go inside the chamber, and there's this glowing... It almost looks like the Dark Crystal, except blue and square. And it's just sitting there. Right? If you go up to it, and you touch it, and you make a wish... It's a monkey's paw wish. So if you wish to be rich, you're buried in money, but then you see from the outside that actually all the infrastructure has collapsed on you. And so you're buried under like nuts and bolts and stuff like that, but you saw money. If you say, I want the zone to disappear, the wish granter strikes you blind. So you can't see the zone anymore.
God,
so technically...
So really what the room is a bitch. That's what the room is.
Yes.
It's a mean bitch.
Right.
Oh,
so... That's one ending, is to have one of the variations of the wish granter. That's considered the kind of the worst ending. Because no matter what, you're going to get screwed. Now, if you go around the wish granter, you actually can penetrate deeper into the reactor. And you find these scientists still in their very matrixy looking cocoons. Except they're cylindrical and they're green and they're not filled with goo. But you find what's called sea consciousness. And it's all these scientists that make up a hive mind. And you find out that they've been kind of manipulating things, and they say, hey, if you join us, which makes sense in the sequel because there was a missing scientist. So if you're the extra person, they're like, we can control everything. We'll fix all this, and we'll run the world because we're smart. We know what to do. You can opt to join them, in which case you get implanted into the sea consciousness. And you take over. That's also considered a bad ending.
So, do they ever explain why why there is any of this then?
Yes, because the scientists were trying. This machine was meant to allow them to tap into the global subconscious.
Okay.
They wanted to explore what the noosphere was, and so they unintentionally triggered this explosion because they didn't do it properly.
Got it.
So yes, it's not that they meant to blow anything up. They meant to essentially find a new realm and understand it. So it's scientific development.
Man, there's like a weird kind of Venn diagram crossover between S.T.A.L.K.E.R and back rooms, isn't there?
Oh, definitely. Yes. There's well, I mean, this is the classic. What they did was they created a villain who had noble intentions. These scientists were not evil. They weren't trying to... Now, not until you get to the end of the game, and then they're like, well, we can run everything. But at first, the idea was just that they were they believed that there was this thing called a noosphere, which was this global subconscious, which is a real idea that people have. I don't know if they call it the noosphere, but in any event...
Well, I mean, you're almost messing with the concept of the collective.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So what they wanted to do was understand what this was. And then they triggered this explosion, and then because the explosion created the exclusion zone, it was evacuated, and then, as happens, you start to realize that the scientists begin to have a little bit more of a God complex. Well, they're like, well, now we've created this powerful area called the zone, and we can just now start doing wacky research on psionics and start seeing what we can do with this field, and then we can control it, right? And so their original idea was that they thought that they could hive mind world peace, essentially, that if they could tap into the noosphere and fill it with positive ideas,
this is the Highlander
then it would
thing,
make people better.
At the end,
well, it's a eugenics. It's really eugenics via psychics. It's really what it is. It's psychic eugenics.
Well, I mean, eugenics is what comes of it in that situation. But I mean, the idea of it, on its face, being able to psychically connect people, that doesn't sound bad on its face. You know what I mean? Like, it
doesn't at first, except that it does go back to the idea that you have a small group of people who think they know the best way for things to be, and that's eugenics.
Yes, wait, so then they're not connecting people's minds. What they're really doing is making it so they can influence large groups of people.
Well, at first, the idea was, there was a kind of very 60s, flower power idea that, hey, if we can get everybody to link minds and we understand each other better, then the world should gravitate towards peace because it will eliminate a lot of the division because everybody you literally will walk in other people's shoes psychically.
Yeah.
So that was the noble beginning. When the explosion happened, essentially, and this is something that can happen, then these scientists were given essentially a giant petri dish to fuck around in. Yeah. And so they started to do that. And they got corrupted by the fact that there were no checks on what they were doing. And eventually, what they did was they set up these traps like the Wish Granter. And so if you went to the Wish Granter and made a wish, the reason you never found anybody
is because the Wish Granter is literally a trap to these bastards.
It is. Yes, there's several. There's several to try to keep people from getting to them. If you touch the Wish Granter, you essentially become brainwashed and you now work for them as a cultist for all intents and purposes. You are psychically controlled by them, right? And so now they're at the point where they're like, hey, if we could just get you to finish the last piece of the device, we can run everything, we'll fix it all. And so you can do that, in which case you become part of the hive mind. Or what most people do and what is considered to be the canonical ending is you're like, fuck that, and you shoot them all and kill them all and destroy the device. And in theory, that eliminates the seek consciousness idea. And then when Straylock goes outside, he lays down in the grass, and he's not sure he did the right thing. This is another thing I really like about S.T.A.L.K.E.R, the original, is it does not necessarily tell you what you had done. There's a nice cutscene where he's looking around, and there's grass, and it's green, and like there's a little like ladybug lands or a butterfly or something lands on his finger, and he's like, I don't really know if I did the right thing. I hope I did. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And then the game ends. Yeah. So it really doesn't even tell you that that's... But it feels like the right ending. You know what I mean? It seems like the most free will aligned idea is that nobody should be controlling you.
Yeah, you've let the world stay as fucked up as it is rather than letting somebody, a group, get the upper hand.
Right. So, that's the ending of the first game. Masterpiece. One of the best games I've ever played. Has a lot of jankiness, but once you learn it, you can get around it because it was also developed in kind of,
considering that it's a small studio that did this isn't like a big friggin', what do they call them, a double-A game or whatever that
Triple
shit?
Triple A is like
yes.
Ubisoft.
This isn't a triple A game, and yet, I mean...
Yes.
It sounds like it looks gorgeous, and, it has a lot of flexibility.
Yes. So, game 2, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Now we're getting to the game I just finished. So in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, you play a new character. The zone has existed. I believe this is supposed to take place... How many years later? It's, let's see. I think this is 3 years later. I believe it's 3 years. It's not too far after, but an amount of time has passed. And you are an ex-military individual who is encounters one of these artifacts, and it kind of blows up, but you're not killed, but you have like no job prospects. So you're kind of desperate. You hook up with this scientist who has this scanner that can, because essentially in this world, much like in the book, much like in the movie to an extent, the way stalkers make money in some cases is they get these strange artifacts. Now in the book it's from aliens. In the games it's from the aftermath of this explosion. In the movie it's unclear, but they seem to lean towards aliens again. And you bring these back and sell them to scientific organizations because in theory the zone's supposed to be sealed off by the military. So these stalkers sneak in, grab these things, and as long as they don't kill them, they bring them out and they sell them to scientists. So it's this whole scientific industrial complex thing. So this scientist wants you to go in with a piece of technology that he believes can recharge artifacts that otherwise are considered dead, that don't have any magic to them or whatever you want, nothing left of them. So they're basically like depleted. So you go in, you try to use one of these things. You get a military assault happens, although it's not really the military. It's a military faction comes in. They kind of like damage the device. They try to kill you. They don't manage, but they knock you out. They steal all your stuff. Then you wake up and you run into another stalker who, starts this chain of events where you're going around trying to figure out what happened, who these people are, all this type of thing. So eventually, much like the first game, you realize that there are a couple of factions that are trying to do different things.
Yeah, there's people who are living in the zone now.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Basically, this area has now been sealed, where it's very difficult to get in or out. You have to go through the military. So most people don't ever bother because the military just doesn't just let people out, nor does it just let people in. That's why stalkers have to sneak in. And they are considered fugitives in many cases. So, yeah, but there are people who just stayed. In the same way that people didn't evacuate, or they evacuated and went back for Pripyat and Chernobyl and all that stuff. And there's people who live there even though, they were technically in an irradiated zone that wasn't supposed to have anybody in it. But there are people there. So essentially it boils down to there's a couple of different groups that have different ideas of what the zone should be. There's a group called S.T.A.L.K.E.R, and S.T.A.L.K.E.R is directly opposed to Ward. Ward is the military subfaction that wants to eliminate the zone. Just get rid of it so that everything goes back to the way it was. Yeah, it'll be blown up, but there won't be any weird shit in it anymore. That's the Ward. They're basically military soldiers who don't want to deal with anything weird. They just want to kill it and be done with it.
Hammer.
S.T.A.L.K.E.R, pretty much. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is on the opposite end. S.T.A.L.K.E.R thinks that there's a way to make the zone into a utopia where if you're inside of it, life is better than outside of it. They're basically cultists, more or less. In fact, many of them are literally the leftover cultists from the mind-controlled faction from the first game called Monolith, the ones that touched the Wish Granter and became controlled. Right. They have now become S.T.A.L.K.E.R, right? And then there's S.T.A.L.K.E.R, who are basically scientists and are sort of just trying to learn as much as possible, but also you find out probably want to repeat the sea consciousness idea, but on a different type of format where they're like, well, we can control the zone, but what does control the zone mean, right? And then at a certain point in the game, you start hearing that S.T.A.L.K.E.R has been spotted. And I'm like, what? S.T.A.L.K.E.'s still around? And as soon as I heard he was in the game, well, first when the rumors started, I thought it was just going to be rumors. I'm like, no, this can't be that good. I don't generally have an emotional reaction to a video game character. But as I spent so much time playing this character, and I'm like, why is he still here? Because he got out. Yes. So what happens is when you run into S.T.A.L.K.E.R is his own thing. And my immediate fear was they were going to make it into a villain. I was like, oh no, this is going to be a thing where the character who was the protagonist has now become evil for some reason. And I would have really been bummed out by that. It would have been ballsy. Because it would have been, okay, if you've played the first game and you love this character is now turned. Because you are that character. So I played it as the good guy. To have that character then, in the events in between, be a bad guy would have sucked. So once I realized he wasn't that, which it's a little iffy for a while, because he's definitely a zealot in that he believes the zone is its own entity, almost like a Gaia type of thing, and that nobody should be messing with it or controlling it or eliminating it. It has to just exist the way it is because it was naturally created, semi-naturally, because it was a scientific incident, but they were actually messing with a natural phenomenon. They just I don't know, probed it the wrong way and it responded badly. But it's not actually malevolent. It is basically like a nature preserve of weirdness. And so that's his opinion is, his thing is we have to get into that some of the old sea consciousness equipment is still around and these people are trying to get control of it again. And we have to destroy it all. And I don't know how we're going to do it, but that's how we have to do it. And as soon as I realized that was his aim, I'm like, okay, no matter what, I'm with S.T.A.L.K.E.R. I don't give a shit what I have to do. I'm backing this guy because this is my guy now. So anything where he was like, do this, I'm like, aye, aye, Captain, I'm on it. So I'm like murdering SWATs. I don't care, whatever. If S.T.A.L.K.E.R. says they got to go, they got to go. And there was a part of me that thought in the back of my mind, boy, oh boy, if he pulls a turn at the end, I'm going to feel really, really stupid. But I was like, nope, I'm committed to it, blah, 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 blah. And we work our way to the center of the zone.
It's kind of consistent with the character, if that's the canonical ending from the first one.
As far as I know, it is, because he's here. Otherwise, he'd be dead.
And the idea is that, he doesn't think anyone should mess with it. He thinks that it's there. I mean, like you said, it's there. It's a natural thing that's occurred. Let it do its thing.
Yes.
Any control is bad control.
And it would have to be the canonical thing because they could have done at the very beginning of the game, there could have been a pop-up that said, which ending do you think is canonical?
Yeah.
And you pick it. And they probably could have written, you know how in Breakpoint, where we were sure if we killed
Mass Effect did that
B-fucker,
too.
that, the game would break, and it didn't. They just promoted 88 keys.
Yeah, when you...
which was great.
When you kill the head guy in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and then they just promote somebody else, because middle management is middle management.
88 keys.
Yeah, 88 keys. Yeah. Right. So they could have done it that way and just had somebody else take S.T.A.L.K.E.R.'s place as somebody who said, well, I met S.T.A.L.K.E.R. and he, before he disappeared, he's had this idea about the zone, blah, 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 and you would have just followed this guy. But like I said, since that's not offered and S.T.A.L.K.E.R. is there, it has to be that the canonical ending is the one where he gets out.
But you can pick whatever faction you want. It's that kind of game. Yes.
The 4 endings depend on who you back. Ward, Spark. There's a secret ending, which is called like the Y Combinator. I don't remember. There's a name for it. Which some people are saying must be the actual canonical ending of it because of things the developers said as far as follow-up projects being an expanded zone where zones have spread out. So it is very possible that the ending I went with is not going to end up being canonical, but I really don't care. I really don't. So, get to the end. We find that the sea consciousness stuff is there. There's a lot of things that happen along the way. But essentially, what S.T.A.L.K.E.R. realizes is the only way to protect the zone is to essentially fuse with it. Much like the ending of Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, it's a V'ger thing. So basically there's one of these sea consciousness tubes, I don't know what you call it. There's one of these things left, and he's like, all right, I have to get in it, and then you have to hit that button, and it's going to transmute me into the zone. And I will be basically the zone's, I don't know, left-hand executioner or whatever, where I will stop anybody from messing with it. And so you do it.
That's putting a lot of trust in the fact that he's never going to... Because, I mean, doesn't that give him the ability to affect the zone?
It does. So, again...
You're trusting a lot in him.
Well, this is the interesting part. If you never played the first game...
Yeah.
I don't know whether people would trust S.T.A.L.K.E.R. I did, because all of his stuff was consistent with the character I played and the actions that he took in the first game. But that's because I played the first game, which I would guess a lot of modern players probably haven't. Again, even in its current state with mods and everything.
It's just called S.T.A.L.K.E.R. 2, right?
It's called, yeah. If you look S.T.A.L.K.E.R. 2, that'll come up. But the full title is S.T.A.L.K.E.R. 2 Heart of Chernobyl. The first game was S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Shadow of Chernobyl. So he fuses... And then the end cutscene is you hear his voice kind of over all the radios saying the zone is now sealed. No one can come in or go out. No one will be harmed, but no one is allowed to mess with the zone. Except for you. You walk out because you helped him, and he says, allow this stalker to go through. He can do what he wants. And the very end of it is you kind of looking up at the sky, and there's this light in it that is now S.T.A.L.K.E.R. and the zone fused. And then the game credits roll. So again, you're not even sure, much like the first game, was this the right decision? I think it is because I'm back in S.T.A.L.K.E.R. But, as you say, and this goes to connect it back to Deus Ex.
The only reason is that,
Yeah.
what comes to me is that the scientists needed a full group of people to control, like, the world, the no space, whatever they called it, right?
Noosphere,
Yeah, so S.T.A.L.K.E.R. cannot control that at all, like, because there's only one of him. So really, all he can do is just have this effect on the zone, which makes him kind of a, like, and the thing is, he if you're going to go back to, like, the whole literary criticism, you have to go with what's on the page, right? So forgetting the first game, right? Just in the second game interactions that you had with him, did he ever do anything that was out of line with what he was telling you that his priorities were?
No. And that's part of it, is there's a point where you're like, well, why do you want to get there? And he says, because everyone else here wants to control the zone for their own purposes. All I want to do is stop the zone from being manipulated. And he starts referring to it as she. That's what I mean about there's like a God thing happening here. He is now religious.
It's become his religion.
Right.
Yeah.
And so by that logic and what everybody else is saying, everybody else is trying to control it in some way, either because, like, S.T.A.L.K.E.R. thinks it'll become a utopia, which I don't know where they get that from, except it's just a more radical type of religion, I guess.
If you were able to use some kind of advanced technology to make things better for people, I mean...
Yeah.
You know? Plus,
all the other endings, as far as I can tell, have a negative ending. In that Ward blows it up, but now I guess that one's somewhat beneficial in that they just blow the zone up, but then you've lost something that was unique and interesting, and it's just dead. So,
yes, but if you were always afraid of the zone being gone isn't necessarily a negative to them. Like, if a player didn't like being in the zone, then it makes perfect sense that they would be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's blow it up.
Yeah.
You know, because that's the thing. You like the zone. To some degree, you are like S.T.A.L.K.E.R.
Well, I'm S.T.A.L.K.E.R.
Yeah, whereas if somebody came into the game going, geez, I fucking hate this place. Yeah, we should get rid of this place. Man, you know, that's...
Yeah.
But that's, you know, different personalities entering the same place.
Yeah. And then in the second one, the S.T.A.L.K.E.R. thing, you find out that actually that was a psychic illusion, and it ends up making all the stalkers catatonic and just leaves the zone the way it was. So they were sold a lie. And then the one that some people think is the actual canonical one.
Yeah.
In that one, when you yourself, not S.T.A.L.K.E.R., you get into the pod because you are deemed free of any corrupt motives, even though I would argue that S.T.A.L.K.E.R. is the same. Unless his loyalty to the zone is seen as corruption, which I guess by some it would be. And so you set the zone free, but then it goes across the entire planet, and now there's anomalies and shit happening everywhere. So to me, that's not good either. So to me, the best one is S.T.A.L.K.E.R. does appear to at least have benevolent intentions. Now, of course, you could say, well, eventually people become corrupt, but he's not really a person anymore. So this is kind of our thing about, you know, if you turn into an energy being...
If you lose the body altogether, then at what point...
The human frailties vanish. Right.
Yeah, to a great degree.
And there's a mirror of Deus Ex, the first Deus Ex game, when J.C. Denton arrives at the kind of final set of decisions. He can do three things. He can either EMP the whole planet to detechnologize everything because technology has gotten out of control. So you turn it back into the Dark Ages. You can turn it over to the Illuminati, the literal Illuminati, to run things in the shadows, and you're part of them, which is basically like joining C consciousness. Or you can merge with a Helios AI, and then you rule everything as a benevolent ruler who is prevented from human frailty by an AI that you have to hope stays benevolent itself. So there's a lot of overlap with these games.
I'm smelling a lot of if in that plan.
Well, the only difference is with Deus Ex, they don't really explore the risk. Whereas I feel like in both of the Stalker games, the best ending, with quotes around it, does definitely kind of make you consider whether this is really, whether there is such a thing as a best ending in any of these scenarios, which is itself kind of an interesting idea, that there is no best ending. You make a choice and hope that it doesn't have more negative consequences than positive. That's what you're doing. So I love it. I can't think of another sequel that had this much time in between. Because obviously with like the Far Cry games, we release those every other year, so there's not going to be a lot of difference. The level of quality, there's no big gap where, a different studio or whatever or something happened and they just couldn't recreate it. There's no time for that. Mm-hmm. Or, GTA 6, where it's one studio controlling everything and they make the same game over and over and over, which is what they're doing. This was very different, so I wasn't sure, but this is every bit as good as the first one. And I love the fact that it has the ending that I can help Straylock. Because I liked that character a lot. I enjoyed playing him, as I loved his ending in the original, and I'm glad he's not just dead. Because the only way to handle it is he either doesn't show up at all, and you just go, oh, he got out, he escaped. Or you do this. What I was, like I said, my real worry when they first started talking, I was like, oh man, you're going to find his body, or he's going to secretly be the bad guy manipulating all these scumbags or something because, I don't know, he got power hungry or whatever. But no, they preserved Straylock the way he was. They allow you to make decisions on the ending that do have a radically different effects. And the game itself managed to recapture all that atmosphere. And the other thing that sometimes in as an example, to go back to Deus Ex, one of the things that people didn't like about Deus Ex 2, not the sequel to Mankind Divided, but the original Deus Ex 2, Invisible War, was there's a point where you go into J.C. Denton's mind and then you revisit some of the maps from the first game as parts of his mind. And there were people who were like, that's cheap. There's no real actual reason for it except to make you remember it and kind of check off the box that we, know that you played the first game. And I sort of understand that criticism. If you're not adding anything, then revisiting it does just become a, oh, look, reference type of thing. But in this, because it's still set in the same zone, you come back to some of these areas and some of them are the same as they were, and some have gotten worse. And it was great to recognize areas that I haven't played the first Stalker probably in at least 10 years.
But you're still doing all this in the context that at any point something could appear from nowhere turn your
any moment.
Okay.
Yeah, there are random emissions that happen that are essentially like death storms. I don't know what it's called. The sky turns red, and you will just die if you can't get into a basement. And I was caught out in the middle of fields and could not make it back and just died. And so that can happen too. You could just randomly get caught in an emission. So save off on everybody, which I did. But yeah, there were literally more than a few times where I'm like, holy shit, is there a fucking building anywhere? Because you get a radio thing and it's like, hey, there's an emission coming. You better get it. You have like 2 minutes. And you easily get overweight and you can't run very fast. So I would see a building and I just see the life bar would just start to climb, shoot downwards. I'm like, can I make it to the building? Nope, dead. Out of nowhere. Just happens. Then the next time I load up, doesn't happen.
Well, because it's random.
And then you forget about it for a while. And then, you're in the middle of a giant field, like trying to find this one little secret bag of stuff that somebody left behind. Fucked. It's great. If you enjoy that, which I do, because I don't feel like it's unfair, I feel like you have to be constantly surveying. Is there a building somewhat nearby? Where was the last building I was at? There were times where I literally had shot a bunch of mutants and barely got out of it. And I'd be like, okay, here, let me bandage up my wounds. Great. Okay, make sure I drink some water because you do have to drink. It doesn't really affect you too badly, but you have to drink and eat. Okay, all right. I'm good. Health's back to normal. Drank, ate. Okay. Start walking. Nothing's happened for like 5 minutes. Then suddenly, a bunch of soldiers come out of nowhere or other stalkers. I go to shoot them and realize I never reloaded the gun. They fucking blow my head off. So then eventually you learn, okay, as soon as you survive, reload, bandage, drink, eat. Okay, walk. You get trained. After a while, it doesn't happen anymore. But the first couple times, it's like, well, fuck.
Well, yeah, but that's any game where you basically have to learn to the status quo for survival,
It is, but it's so variable in this that you can get lured into forgetting. I'm not going to say that once I realized that, I never forgot to reload. All the way through to the end, there were points where I'm like, fuck, reload! But, again, if you played the original game and enjoyed it, Stalker 2 is that again. And that's the rarity. Is I really enjoyed the story. It looks beautiful, because it's a modern game now. And the atmosphere all came back. And I don't know that I've played another game with this much of a time passage from the first to the next one that managed to feel exactly like the first game. So it is remarkable. I will play it again at some point, but I want to let it breathe. And I might choose the secret ending just to see what it looks like, where I get in the pod. But there's a better than even chance I'll just side with S.T.A.L.K.E.R again because I like S.T.A.L.K.E.R. That's all. Just reviewing it.
No, I was just thinking if you're not going to try a different ending. It's a weird thing about trying certain games a second time. You kind of sit there and go, should I do it differently? Like I was with so I played Mass Effect all the way through from beginning to end, like probably 3-4 times. Three times.
Sure.
And I tried making different decisions along the way, right? But what I discovered was that I could never play. It's Paragon and Dick. What's the other one called?
No, yeah. I know what
Dick.
you mean.
It's basically Dickhead.
Yeah, Dick.
Yeah, because you end up getting in a lot of the same places. It's just one way you're like, "Fuck you, I'm Shepard," and the other way is like, "Oh, okay, let's have a conversation." Right? I couldn't play the game as a dick, and the decisions that who I felt should live or die, I just gravitated towards certain characters. So, like, you know, I tried saving different characters in the first game because those two characters are actually in the first game pretty interchangeable. But then later on, it was like who you decide to save, and then trying to make it so you can save people in the different endings. Because my big thing was always trying to save. Who's the guy with the guy who does all the oh god, he's the super intelligent alien with like the
Solus.
head.
Solus.
Yeah, I was always trying to save Solus. You know,
which is
not
tough.
Easy.
You have to do a specific set of things to keep him alive.
Yeah, and it's not even that you save him so much as like you just make it so he can disappear. You know, but I found that I made a lot of the same decisions because I wasn't necessarily. I understand the idea of like, oh, role play it and play it differently, but like, I can't role play as a dick. It just doesn't work for me. You know, like, there's the, what do you call it? When we play Baldur's Gate 3, you can play it the Dark Urge ending or whatever it is like that.
Yeah, which isn't really evil, so I do want to do that at some point.
Yeah, that's the thing. At first, I thought that it was like, you're basically a son of a bitch. But what it is that
that's what I thought.
You used to be evil, and it's like kind of in your like cursed, isn't it, to some degree? That like
yes, I believe it is something like there is a curse, or you have some kind of shadow self or something inside you.
Because I know that
constantly balance.
At one point, that you have your team members have to deal with that or some shit like that. And when I realized that that's what it was, I was more inclined to try it. Because up until that moment, I was like, yeah, I don't think I could play this game and just play it as a dick for no reason. You know, it's just not in me. So replays are weird.
For me, if I have to kill S.T.A.L.K.E.R, I'm not even bothering. So if choosing something else means that I'll have to kill him, I'm not going to choose anything else. I'll just replay it with S.T.A.L.K.E.R. And I'll still have a good time because, you know.
Would you have to kill him if you get in the pod?
That's what I'm wondering is there was some point where I want to say the second time I talked to him, you know, he's like, well, you're going to have to make a decision on, you know, what you want to help the zone become. I hope you choose to help me and not oppose me. And I don't know whether that word can do a lot of different work.
That language is very specific.
Well, but I mean, think about it. What would a religious zealot say if you say, I'm going to control your God? They're probably not going to respond well.
I mean, listen, the fact that that he has a zealotry about him is kind of,
Yes.
zealotry always makes me. Listen, I had a fun adventure the other day, and I didn't tell you about it. Probably because other stuff was going on. But I went to a office supply store recently, and I was just there to look at tables. Right? That's it. And I'm a bit slow right now. I had kind of a weird injury that makes it so that I can't walk quickly. This keys into the story. And I was there, and I was looking at some tables in the back of the store, and I'm going to keep it generic. A friendly-looking woman walked up to me, and I tried to be polite, at which point she asked me if I had taken Jesus into my heart. And I was like, oh, God damn it. And I responded, but I did not mess with gods and goddesses, and politely and said, have a good day, and walked away. At which point, they followed me. They followed me through the entire store, going on about how, you can't not mess with Jesus. You need Jesus in your life. And, he's watching, and just all this religious, like, garbage. Now, I walked away. For those who think that I'm hateful on Christians, I walked away. And they followed me. They followed me all the way through the store and out into the parking lot, going on about God and Jesus and all this shit. And I swear to you, I tried so hard to just shut up and walk away. But I was slow. And I was getting irritated because why the fuck... I just came to look at a table, you fucking zealot. At which point, I don't know why this is, but my brain was like, you know what? If this person really wants to have open season here, let's see if we can convert them to, the Norse gods was the first thing that popped in my mind. I've been doing a lot of research into Norse gods. So I basically started, what's the phrase? I almost said vandalizing. Not vandalizing. What's the word when you orate for a certain religion?
Proselytizing?
I started proselytizing for Odin. Odin and his one eye watching you, and his two ravens, and his children, and Thor watching over you, and how you should never mess with a stranger because a stranger might be Thor. You should never be impolite. And I just kept going and going. And I watched kind of the blood go out of their face as they realized that there was now a problem. Like, it was kind of one of those things where it was like, you fucker, you could have walked away. And you followed me. And you could have walked away, but you didn't. So now I'm going to bother the fuck out of you. At which point, I followed them through the parking lot till they got to their car, telling them how they should accept Odin into their life. How they should be afraid of the frozen hell. And they should watch out for strangers. I kept going about the stranger thing I love. And the thing is, you know what I look like, right? I am not somebody that you just walk up to. Now, I'm friendly, but if I get unfriendly, you would think that people would make a quick escape. And I mean, this woman really believed that Jesus Christ and his father who killed him were watching over her until Odin came into the picture. I don't know, what was the thing that finally broke them, right? But they were like, okay, I'm done now. And it's like, oh, no. You don't get to be done now. I was done 10 minutes ago. Now you don't get to be done till you run. And I was so fucking irritated that some fucking zealot did that to my day. And you know what hilarious is, today I had Bible thumpers in my front door, which I was like, what the fuck is going on? But they were different. They opened the door. They were like, hey, can we use your prayer? I said, hey, this is not a religious household. They were like, okay. And I was like, have a good day. And they were like, you too. And they left. And I was like, see, that's how it should be. Someone shows up and says, hey, I'm a zealot. You want to hear about my weird zealot shit? And you go, not today, please. Have a good day. And they go, okay. And then they fucking, saunter off, chew on their book, right? That's how it should be. You know, and you're talking about this game. It's funny because what is the word? Don't oppose me. Is that what he said?
Something to that effect.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, he was worried you were going to get directly in the way of his zealotry. Which, I mean, that's the worst place to be for when dealing with a zealot, because, you know, they are a train, a freight train in their ideas, right? But what annoys the fuck out of me, imagine if in that game you were like, okay, cool, man, I won't oppose you, and then S.T.A.L.K.E.R just followed you for the rest of the game, going on about how you have to allow the goddamn zone into your heart.
Open your heart to the zone, man.
Open your heart to the zone.
You gotta open your
Come
heart
on.
to the zone.
Yeah. Oh,
Do it.
my God. So fucking irritating.
Yes.
Have you ever had that happen to you?
No, I've never had somebody follow me around.
I mean, my wife's line was, I guess she really looked like you had to be saved. And I was like, yeah, by the end, she was looking for someone to save her because I had fucking had it. And I don't know why. Like I said, I think it's just because I've been reading a lot about Norse mythology that, like, I just had that in my head ready. You know? And it was the whole, you know, let me proselytize to you about a religion that's older than your religion. Actually, you know what? It's a good question now, because I thought that. But is the Norse older than the Christians? I think it is.
I think so. Pretty sure.
Must be older than Christianity. Let's see. Yes!
Is Odin older than Jesus? Yes.
The roots of the Norse religion are older than Christianity. Yeah. Back through older Germanic and Indo-European traditions by thousands
you were
of
more
years.
scientific about it than me.
Long before the specific old Norse pantheon.
Like I said, is Odin older than Jesus? Yes.
Yes. Well,
thank you.
You mean, did he get to an older age, or do you mean, you know?
No. Listen, the search engine knew what I meant.
So I would love to know a better way to depressurize that situation.
I can tell you.
What's that?
Lie.
Hit them?
No.
Oh, no. See, the thing, I can't bring myself to. I realize that that's probably the easiest way, but I just can't.
No, it is. I don't care because. All right, I'll tell you why.
No,
it doesn't
I know you're.
Because I generally.
Listen. No, I get it, and you are correct on a.
But I want to be very specific here because I'm generally not pro-lying. I'm really not. I don't find that lying is generally the right thing in almost any example. I tend to prefer to be honest and explain my reasons for things because I think it's just a better way to be. But in the scenario you're laying out, here's the primary issue that I would be. So this person comes up to me, says what they say. There's two possible alignments that to me make the most sense to what that person is. One, that they are a true believer who will respect the fact that not everybody believes what they do. That's one side. The other is what you ran into, which is they are a true believer who is convinced they have to convert everybody. Now, the true believer who would leave me alone is not harmed by me saying, I absolutely do. Jesus is my Savior.
No, we benignly go our separate directions.
And I would say, I hope you have a blessed day. They'd probably say the same thing back to me. They walk away feeling that they had met a kindred spirit, someone else that's good in the world, and they walk away happy. I walk away unbothered.
That's the part that bothers me, is that you fulfill the fantasy of their illusion, and I don't like that. For me.
I do not require busting other people's illusions if I do not see an obvious harm from them.
Well, yeah,
a person's coming up to me in the store doesn't harm anything.
Yes, but if you are putting your illusion on me, why should I be required to?
I don't think asking you that is putting their illusion on you. I think they're
but it also should be so simple as hey, have you taken Jesus in your life? No. And then they should be like, okay, see you later.
Well,
and that should be it.
I agree, but that's the ideal world we don't live in. So what I'm trying to do there is for the person who is the better of those two options, do no harm. Remember my rules? Do no harm. There is nothing harming me in that lie, and there's nothing harming that person in the lie. And then the other person that you ran into stops me from losing my shit.
True.
Which then harms me more than them because they're going to turn around and say, hey, Jesus, I tried. You know, he's clearly a heretic. I hope he burns in hell. Like, that person's going to walk away not feeling bad. They might feel physically threatened by you for a few minutes, or me in that scenario, but they actually there's nothing that you've done to them.
I'm really hoping that that maybe I made them question their faith a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now you're living in the illusion.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that would take a series of heartfelt discussions with a good faith, on each side.
Deprogramming people is nigh impossible sometimes. Okay,
I agree.
Yeah,
but the other problem here, I'll by the way, as a sub tangent of what you're talking about, there's also a problem in your. Oh, I might make them question their beliefs. I really only believe that works if the other side believes that you're willing to do it as well, that you would be willing to consider that maybe you're wrong in your atheism. And I know you're not.
I wasn't about to have a heart-to-heart in the back of the fucking office supply store.
Then you can't possibly hope to convince anybody.
No,
so that's
I know
what I'm saying.
But the idea is that you should just keep your fucking shit to yourself and fuck off. I mean, that should be the ideal,
as a baseline, I agree with you.
Yeah, there you go.
What I'm saying, though, is in that situation... My thing is do no harm if you are not sure. So
I'm gonna make tie-dye shirts that say "fuck Jesus." There's your answer.
Well, I imagine that will probably not do exactly what you think it will. I think that would bring more of those people on, even less. Yeah, I do. I think people would want to be like, you're only saying that because you don't know the benevolence and light of God's love, and you could say, I don't care, and they'll say, well, You're missing out, and let me explain to you why. And then they're going to follow you.
This is why the Romans were fucking burning them, I swear.
Look, again, your original thesis that everybody should shut up about their beliefs, well, that's true about a lot of things, and I'm with you on that. That's why it takes a while for people to pin down, if they don't listen to this show or anything else. If they only meet me randomly or only know me in light conversation, my politics are somewhat impossible to peg down because I give very neutral answers because I don't care
you're much better.
If they think so or not.
You're much better at that, yeah. Whereas, I just can't... it's my own internal system to just be like, hey, it's not my job to maintain your illusion. And you're right in that I could just be like, yeah, Christianity's great, but, that's not me. So I err to the side of polite, politely going our separate ways, which apparently is not a thing. So,
well, that's the problem with that of not
and then
doing
it's the
it the way I do
whole,
it.
and then it's the whole. God damn it! See, I tried to be nice, and then you made me have to be scary.
Yeah.
I was like, you made me have to be scary. I had to use your own tactics against you. I was like, my hope is that in the future, you'll just fucking keep this to yourself. Or, go for people who are interested in the conversation. That's the other thing. If, they'd bumped into me and I'd been like, no, you know what? I don't have Jesus in my life, but I'm fascinated by him. Then we can have a conversation. But if someone tries to just, no, thank you, I'm good, and just walk away, it's like, yeah. I hate that. So zealots make me nervous, and that's the thing is that when you said early on in your review when you were talking about S.T.A.L.K.E.R and how at first he came off like a zealot, it's like it makes me nervous, But you also said that morally he did nothing that was outside of his belief structure, and you somewhat agreed with his belief structure. That works. Listen, a zealot is a great tool. If you've got zealots working for you and you can use their zealotry in your favor, zealots are a great tool. But the problem with being a zealot is you can only see things one way, the way that you believe. And if for any reason that is manipulated or incorrect, you're basically blind to your own fuckery. And I know the Christians are like, there's nothing wrong with Christian zealotry. And you're like, yeah, but you know what? What if I was a Norse zealot? What if I really did think that, Odin was going to bring down destruction on you for your fucking bullshit? Or any other. Listen, there's other active religions on this planet. Actually, I think there is still some active Norse mythology as well. But, there are other active religions. I mean, actually, the big three all follow the same basic book structure and the same God, so that's kind of weird in itself. That's why I always find it comical as hell that the Christians and the Muslims have been killing each other for so long. But anyway, killing each other over the same religion. But yeah, it's like, no, zealotry is dangerous. It's dangerous across the board. I mean, fuck, Star Wars zealots. It's not even religion. Zealotry, period, is dangerous. You know? Then you get these people that are like,
yes.
wanting to threaten actresses because they felt like they ruined their role in a movie. Shit like that. God.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we get back to that idea, which is just, I don't mind. And what's funny, too, is earlier today, after the Bible Thumpers left, they left me with a card with some prayers on it. And I was sitting there, and it was just on the table. And I was looking at it. And basically it said, the one was like, children, parents should be respectful of the Lord, and children should be respectful of their parents. And I was like, okay. But then the other thing on there that was like, men should be respectful of the Lord, and women should follow the rules their husbands give them. And I was like, okay, I'm out. It's like, I'm good. So, yeah. Yeah. And, what's terrible is, remember a while back, I told you that African-American women really liked apparently they like my style. I don't know why. It's not a racist thing. It's just a weird thing that a lot of older African-American women, for some reason, like my style. I think
it's because you have one.
Either way. This was an African-American woman, so I was totally not prepared. I thought they were just going to say something with my shirt or something like that. I didn't realize it was going to be a whole fucking, Jeezy Creasy thing. Oh, God.
Jeezy Creasy.
Yeah. You never heard that before?
Nope. That's a show
an
title
Eddie.
now.
It's an Eddie Izzard thing. Jeezy Creasy.
Then never mind. Nope,
yeah, that's what I say. That's why you heard it before. Jeezy Creasy.
Well, I guess I have, and I didn't remember it, which is stunning because that's great. Jeezy Creasy.
Yeah.
Jeezy Creasy cover girl.
Yeah, it's been a long time since anybody tried to fucking proselytize to me.
Me too. Before the Poisons.
I know, but I hover between.
I can even give them favorite Bible verses that aren't God-oriented.
Well, motherfucker, I read the book twice at this point. I know what's in it.
No, it's not that.
You have verses ready.
I have two that I can tell them with the book and the number that verify that they are real Bible verses, but have no actual religious reference. Which is Philippians 4:13 and 4:8. Philippians 4:13 essentially says, I don't have it exact, but it's, I think it's something like I find the strength to do all things through him in which I believe, which just means me. That's easy. Doesn't say God. And then 4:8 basically says think nice things all the time, which I'm like, yeah, that's nice. But it doesn't mention anything specific to you would never know it wasn't just somebody putting it on a Hallmark card. So if they say, what's your favorite verse? Oh, Philippians 4:8 or Philippians 4:13. Because I feel that through good thoughts, we can make good things happen. And it sounds correct. And it is correct. And if they say, I'll say I have trouble actually memorizing the words because I have a bit of a dyslexia, so I can't really remember everything. So I have all the bases covered. It's easy. It's all covered.
I should have some George Carlin quotes on religion ready.
Well, I mean, yeah. Then you're going to end up following somebody in their car talking about Odin. And see, I don't want to waste my time with that.
He's all powerful, all perfect, all knowing, and all wise. Somehow just can't handle the money.
But you know what? Can't balance a checkbook.
Oh, I love this one. If it makes this is really the one I should have used. If it makes you feel better, fine. Just don't make me wear your shoes. I like that one. That's the best.
That's good. Yeah.
Atheism is a non-profit organization. And the funny thing is, I'm not even atheist. Like, I'm agnostic in that I realize that I cannot say anything with authority. I just accept the fact that there's many possibilities, and it's all as likely to be real as utter bullshit.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, I've begun worshiping the sun. Unlike some other gods I could mention, I can see the sun. Yeah.
Yep.
Man. Yeah, I wasn't even going to tell you about that. Just you were talking about zealots. It pissed me off.
It is an element of the game. So
I had other shit to talk to you about too, and I just completely fucking
oh no,
just completely lost it with the
blanked
with the zealotry.
Oh
Yeah, this shit drives me crazy.
That's too bad.
Did I just close my recorder? No, there it is. There, I
Uh-oh.
didn't close it.
I mean, it really wouldn't matter if you did.
No, I thought I had something. Son of a bitch. Yeah, and I just lost it because we were talking about all this other shit. Anyway,
Well,
so yeah, don't be a zealot.
Don't be a zealot.
What is the life lessons? Life lessons. Don't be a zealot.
Don't be a zealot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have so embraced the fact that AI thinks I'm sleazy. I had such a good time with that word. My wife, I don't know what happened. I told my wife about our whole stupid thing about the AI finding me sleazy, and now, and now, whenever anything comes up where like my humor's wrong or anything, I'm like, well, maybe the AIs are correct that I am just sleazy. Plus, for fuck's sake, how would a robot know what is and is not sleazy? Isn't sleazy such a human concept? Like, and up to the definition of human sensibility too, because I mean, sleaziness to some degree is tied in with a certain level of sexuality. So how would an AI or machine learning, as the case may be, understand what even the fuck is something that is sleazy? It would be going off of the definition of a majority of reports. Is that how it works? Right? I mean, you agree with me this idea that, you know, sleazy is on a sliding fucking bar here for...
Yeah, there is no definition of that, really.
Exactly. So I just find that to be very funny.
Because, again, one zealotry might suggest that a skirt is sleazy.
Yeah.
Of
ankles.
any length.
Yes. Oh, man, yeah.
So, yeah. I
just find that so funny. Yes. Fucking zealots. Hey, do you got anything else? My brain is stuck.
No, I spent an hour talking about S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. I think I'm good.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I had a lot to say.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I was trying to think because I've been watching a lot of newer media with my son, and been watching.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
This is I do have a little thing. Have you read anything about the story of the Supergirl movie?
No.
Okay. I originally was planning for us to watch that with something else. I thought, oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, I want to see it.
I don't.
Really?
And I'm going to tell you why.
Convince me.
Well, I'm not going to convince you. You can watch it, but I'm not going to. And I'll tell you why. It's based on Woman of Tomorrow, right?
It was, yeah.
Both of us agreed was very good.
Great.
Yes, great. Right? So that entire book, for those who haven't read it. I know exactly how to... Okay, here we go.
So, God, you just had like an Italian like trumpet set there. That was like...
Hey, yeah, exactly.
Hey, ho,
right.
hey.
Right. So, because I figured something out. So you and I talked about the book. I know we reviewed it on one of the shows.
I reviewed it, yeah, because I read it a while ago. Yeah, I love that
book. For those who
book,
may not remember, essentially what happens is that Supergirl...
It's True Grit with Supergirl. It's space True Grit with Supergirl. That's the quickest way to explain it.
It is a long adventure with Supergirl and this young woman where Supergirl is in a very bad place for most of the book mentally.
Yeah.
And this young girl is trying to catch up with somebody, a very bad person. And at the end of the book, I'm going to skip over a lot, obviously. There's a lot of stuff. But at the end of the book... they catch up to this individual named Krem. And Supergirl has a saber in her hands. and is about to kill this guy and behead him. And as she swings it, the young girl who Supergirl has been trying to teach the idea of kindness and forgiveness and all these other kind of, rising above, where your anger and vengeance will take you. I'm summarizing greatly, but you would agree that's the general gist.
Yeah.
Right? So she goes to kill him, and the young girl screams out, "I learned the lesson," and Supergirl stops right at his neck. And instead, banishes Krem to the Phantom Zone. Right? Many years later, this is the very ending of the book, many years later, the Supergirl goes back to I cannot remember what the young girl's name is. The young girl, who's now an old woman, who's like walking around with a cane, old, aged, and brings Krem to her, and she looks at him, and she smacks him in the head with a cane and knocks him out and walks away from him. Right? And Tom King and the artist who did the book had to actually clarify, because people misinterpreted this ending at first, which I didn't, but I guess I can see how people would, because it's done in silhouette. So you might think she killed him by smacking him with the cane, but she did not. And Tom King and the artist have both said, no, he's not dead. He's knocked out.
She just smacked him, yeah.
Right, because she learned the lesson. But I guess some people wanted it to be that she killed him, even though it just doesn't make sense if you read the whole story. Right? So when James Gunn and the director, whose name I can't remember, said, we're adapting that storyline, and they said, yep, Krem's in there, and he's traveling with this young girl, and it's basically, Crypto gets poisoned, but he's not really poisoned, blah, 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 blah. Even though in that, they changed that and make it where he really is poisoned when he actually wasn't, which doesn't make any sense because they shoot in the movie Supergirl and Crypto with the same dart. She's fine, the dog's not, even though they're both Kryptonian. But you could chalk it up to maybe there was chocolate in his. Yeah. That doesn't bother me so much. That's a plot hole that's easily solved.
Okay.
So, Crypto chocolate, whatever. So they get to the end of the movie, and what would be the biggest perversion of the core tenet of the story?
For her to kill him.
Not the girl. Supergirl kills him.
For her to kill him, yeah.
Yeah. So they pulled Azad from Man of Steel, and I went, nope, I'm out.
Oh,
man. Yep. I'm done.
Interesting.
Nope. So you can watch it. You can review it. You can love it. I'll never touch it.
No, it's a fundamental change. See, here, hold on. So for me, that is not the only thing about the book that I like. There's a lot of other stuff in the book that I like.
Well, okay, but the movie guts most of the rest of the book and focuses on this element.
And that's the problem, is that one of the things I like. One of the things I like about the book is the way that the book shows you that Supergirl is every bit as powerful as Superman, but she doesn't have the same upbringing. Basically, it says, hey, because in many ways, this is terrible to say, the Supergirl book is a lot about Superman. Because you don't realize what Superman is until you understand what he is not. And one of the things he is not is Supergirl. Because he was sent to Earth as a child, he was raised by parents, he has parents, right? Whereas Supergirl watched her world die and was sent away as an adolescent. So she carries far more trauma. She carries trauma that Superman will never have. I mean, Superman
got stuck in some kind of time-dimensional wormhole, too. So she was,
Yeah. So the thing is, like, Superman, like, he longs for a Krypton that he's never seen. Whereas she watched Krypton die before her, right? And it's terrible. And her whole thing is that, she is every bit as powerful as he is. She is just a different kind of Kryptonian, right? And I like that, the way that they set her as being different. She's more aggressive. She's more dangerous of the two, right? I like that. I also like the fact that, yes, she is with him, with the young woman, trying to convince her that murder is not the answer. Justice is an answer, but murder is not the answer, right? And so, yes, if they got all the other stuff that I like, and they change the ending so that it's, she just kills him, then yeah, they have perverted the concept of the story. I don't know what else they've thrown out from the middle. That's the thing that I'm hoping that they haven't, that there's all that other stuff is in there, but we'll see. Because if they're going to gut the ending, then they probably got a lot of the shit in the middle as well.
Well, I mean, The movie itself is, I believe, is it 2 hours or is it 90 minutes? Hold on, I want to see something. I forgot. The movie itself, and this is just, I'm just figuring this out. So the movie is hour 48, right?
Yeah, I know.
The book.
They have to edit out so much of the book.
Well, not only edit out, but don't forget, Lobo ain't in the book.
Yeah, and they hyped his presence.
Lobo is in a significant. He's also he's also chasing Krem or something, and so they just run across each other, and it's just a backdoor way of bringing in a Lobo movie, really.
Yeah.
But okay, they've now added something that wasn't present, and they've changed the ending. So.
Well, then listen.
Like I said,
we'll chalk this up to what normally happens. They take a book, they think they can do better, and they change it.
Well, and I'll tell you, I was fucking pissed because I wanted to watch this and really like it when I didn't like Superman, and be like, you know what, Supergirl, this I dug because
I liked Superman. I enjoyed it. So we're kind of in a different boat here.
Yeah. Maybe you'll like it.
But I'm annoyed.
I hope you do.
I'm annoyed about that. And you do bring up very good math because if all the Lobo shit that they've had to add, they've had to take things out. Yeah. And if they're going to change fundamental things like the fact that she doesn't kill him, then yes, you are fundamentally changing aspects of what I found valuable in the book. Which is a problem. Oh God, I was just thinking of another adaptation. This is all over adaptation. This is always how it is, This is
sure.
And the thing is, it's not. Did James Gunn handle the story on this? Because I can't get it.
No. He is the universe runner, so he's approving everything. But it was written by a woman who wrote some other things.
Okay, so he basically was just the producer on these things. He didn't actually.
He's a producer. Correct. It was not directed by him, and it was not written by him.
I'll just have to. You know what? I'll have to read some more about it and see what else they. Because I'm sure someone's done a detailed. Actually, hold on 1 second. Can you answer that question?
A detailed what?
Quick? A breakdown of what they ejected from the book.
Oh well, okay, yeah. I watched a very good evaluation of the movie by a young woman who is a huge DC fan. So I was like, oh, good. Okay, this is somebody, who's saying something who is inclined to like it. So.
Oh, wow. Okay, so here's a few things. So, yes, the first thing on the major plot and setting changes. The comic has an elderly Ruthie knock out a rehabilitated Krem with a cane, but the film shows Supergirl murdering Krem to protect Ruthie's innocence. If that's what you want to call it. Okay.
Sure.
So, wait. Sure. So, Ruthie couldn't learn the lesson? So, okay. Whatever.
Yeah, from what I read, Ruthie's going to kill him. Supergirl says, no, vengeance won't ease your pain. And then when Ruthie doesn't do it, then she does it.
All right. The film condenses the journey down to visiting 3 planets instead of the 8 featured in the original comic.
Which makes makes sense.
So that's a lot of planets.
It has to be. That's just
I'm not saying that they had to make cuts to make it a short movie.
Right.
And then the group is portrayed in the film as heavy metal space pirates rather than their original comic depictions. That's always going to happen.
Yes, that's fine. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a sense of what else they cut. But you know what? I bet you the whole was it the Yellow World that she goes to, where she she loses all her powers and starts to die through the day.
Yeah.
And then as the sun goes down, she suddenly gets her powers back and she can take off. I wonder if that's in there.
I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
This is going to be a weird statement.
Yeah.
But I really wish I would have liked to have seen a Supergirl movie with the Supergirl from the Flash movie. I thought that was an interesting look for the character. I thought the actress was good. So from the Flash movie, Supergirl shows up in that with the short black hair.
Oh,
I thought the costume looked good.
Yeah.
I thought the character was... I liked everything about that. And then they changed it over to this.
And they never said that they were going to do anything else with that Supergirl, didn't they? Well, that's part of
the idea. If it had been successful...
That's the end of the what's his name?
The Snyderverse. Yes, that was the last movie. Yes. So, yeah, when that didn't do well, they didn't go any further. The idea was, of course, that yes, they were going to make a Supergirl movie. But
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a good look.
And I thought she was good in that movie. She was the best thing in that movie outside of Michael Keaton being a very, very bitchy Batman. Which he was, and it was great. So, yeah, and that's not me saying there's anything wrong with this woman as Supergirl. From what I've read, she's very good.
Yeah,
but if you're going to do a landmark story and then change the whole point of the moral lesson, boy, oh boy, you better do it perfectly. And I don't know how you do that.
Ooh, my God, that's a quote. Supergirl's story and tone has more in common with Zack Snyder's Man of Steel than James Gunn's Superman.
Ooh,
that's bad. Okay.
Trip. Tough blow. Man.
Wow, that's...
I mean, it literally is Man of Steel all over again. And as soon as I realized that, I'm like, no, I'm good.
And that was part of the reason why I did like the Superman movie, because they brought back the goodness of the character.
Oh, no. That part I agree with. I just couldn't stand the style. It was purely the aesthetics of the movie. That was for me.
Which I didn't mind, yeah.
Which is too bad, because I liked his attitude as Superman.
Look at the bright side. We still have the book.
Oh, also, I still have the Christopher Reeve movies, so I'm fine.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
I actually don't hate the Supergirl movie with...
What was her name? Is it Kelly Slater? Is that her name, who did the Supergirl movie in the 80s?
No. It's not Kelly Slater. It's Helen Slater.
Helen Slater. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't mind that movie. It's stupid, but she looks good.
Yeah. I mean,
her
listen.
Outfit looks good. She looks like Supergirl.
If you want a screen version of Supergirl that works, watch the Supergirl show.
Watch the show.
Yeah, I mean,
watch the show.
If anything,
she was great.
The Flash. I mean, well, really, it's Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl paved the way for Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes.
So
they brought back my Flash and let him die well. So whatever. They brought the Kingdom Come Superman in, and what's his face played him again. So I have no complaints.
I mean, how fantastic is that?
I mean, Jesus. And he looked great. The suit looked great. He looked great.
Yeah, and he handled it well. So, are you looking at a picture of it?
Yeah, because I haven't seen it in a while.
Like,
God damn it, he looks great. Look at that. Good old Brandon Ruth. Willing to come back and play the character and play a great version.
That's a guy who should have had better roles.
I mean, have you this one picture of him where it literally looks like an Alex? You would think it was an Alex Ross painting. It's unbelievable. I don't know if you've seen this picture. This was a promotional thing for it.
I've seen quite a bit, by all means.
If you that is an Alex Ross painting.
Yes.
That's stunning.
Yeah, and he's a big guy, so he's perfect.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyway.
I feel somewhat silly because, I'm sure you heard that Jean Grey is in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty jazzed about it.
No, I know, but I had a terrible moment with myself, right? So, for the longest time, I've been like, how the hell are they going to bring mutants into the Marvel Universe? Because I guess they're going to have to do a reset or some shit, or la 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 la.
Or this.
And you know what's funny is it never occurred to me, and this is that whole that sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees. It never occurred to me to be like, yeah, you know what? They just popped up. Because, I mean, that's the thing. Why couldn't mutants just happen? It's a mutation. Yeah. Why couldn't there... I mean, and the idea of just saying, like, you know what? We don't need to do a whole universe thing. I mean, they're going to. But why can't mutants just be here? Right? I mean, in fact, they don't even need to start with the the secondary X-Men. That's the other thing, too, is people often forget that the core original X-Men was Cyclops, Beast, Angel, Jean Grey,
Fab Five.
Yeah, exactly, and Iceman. And it's like, yeah, you could do a movie with them before you then have to graduate up to the next team, right?
Sure.
But yes, it never occurred to me to just be like, yeah, mutation. They just pop up because she's in that movie, and I actually like the actress they got for her. They got the girl from Stranger Things, who I think is a perfect fit for a young Jean Grey. And mutants are there. It's a thing. They've been popping up, and I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, why not? You know,
mutant proud, bitch.
So I thought that was quite funny. Not to mention the fact that apparently that Spider-Man movie had like one of the biggest releases. Fucking, like,
and somebody had said, "Man, you can ruin a lot of things, but people sure do love Spider-Man."
They do, and it's got to be the. You know, I always liked Spider-Man when he was in team-ups in Marvel, but I was never a big Spider-Man reader on his own, right? I always loved him with, I mean, especially with like, oh god, there's a really good issue where he's with X-Force dealing with Juggernaut in New York.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it's like Jim Lee did the art for it, and then like he's
I know exactly the book you're talking about.
Yeah, and his personality and powers thrown in there with like X-Force. It just works so well because
especially when he's fighting Juggernaut, and Juggernaut's like, "Oh, I'm going to smash you to bits." He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to make cookies when I get home." Da 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 da, and he's just whipping around him.
Exactly.
It's fucking great.
You know, so it's like, and this, I think this, so far, they haven't strayed too far into kind of shit territory with this current incarnation of Spider-Man. Because the thing is, listen, I love the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And I love the second one, too, with fucking Doc Ock, right?
Oh, yeah, that's the best one.
But the third one, I mean...
Oh, yeah. You know, don't fuck up Venom, and they did.
Yeah, and, like, I honestly, I hate to admit it, I have never watched an entire Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I
watched the first one.
I like him, but I never got through a whole one of them.
I remember watching the first one, and I thought it was a snooze fest. It wasn't bad per se, but it was lifeless.
And I think it's kind of the whole, like, they were just kind of trying to redo a lot of the territory they'd already done with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Whereas bringing this Spider-Man in as part of the larger universe already was very, I think, smart. And then they have made good movies with the character. They have done interesting things, and they've been enjoyable. And I don't think that a single one of the current incarnation of Spider-Man movies has been, any of them has even approached how bad Spider-Man 3 was.
Yeah.
And now this is Spider-Man 4, right? Or is this 3? What is this?
This would be, okay, if you're counting mainline movies, there was...
where he's the lead.
Homecoming, Brand New Day, Far From Home, and then this, so 4.
So this 4, right. So for the fourth movie...
I mean, he was in the multiverse Doctor Strange, though, too, so I don't know if that counts, but it was a Doctor Strange movie, so I'll say no. So 4.
Yeah, so for this to be like, you know, one of the later outings, and to still have it have such a big release. And I mean, people, like you said, people love Spider-Man. And it's enjoyable that they're messing with mutants and stuff, you know, and trying shit, and, you know.
Spider-Man movies keep things simple. There isn't 18 characters bouncing around from different movies, just Spider-Man now.
No, and if anything, I've read that he has a good, he's got a good rapport with Bernthal.
Seems to, yeah.
But apparently this is the third movie that, oh god, what the hell is his name? Who plays Spider-Man?
Oh, Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. This is the third movie he's made with Bernthal?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, they have a rapport, you know, and it's like...
Punisher's apparently like the comedy relief in it.
Well, I mean,
apparently the funny
he's
bit.
the straight man and the serious one.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I'm actually quite interested in seeing this movie.
Sure.
You know, listen, I was never a Marvel zealot. So for me, as long as I'm entertained, fuck all. Here we go.
No.
You know, that's all I want. I just want to be entertained.
Although I do find it a great irony that actually my favorite modern Spider-Man movies are made by Sony, and they're the animated ones.
Okay, hold on. That's a whole other.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Those are the best Spider-Man movies, purely.
Across the Spider-Verse is, for me, one of the great superhero movies.
I agree.
Like, it's got to be in the top 5.
Yep, it's up there with Mask of the Phantasm in terms of animated adaptations that get the character.
Yeah, Mask of the Phantasm. Fuck, I mean, but yeah, you know what? Listen, as far as I'm concerned, no Batman movie, none of them, is as good as the animated series, as far as getting that character the way I feel the character is. That is my Detective Batman.
All Two-Faces get held up to that one, so...
Yeah, yeah.
All Two Faces get held up to that one. So I completely agree with you.
And someone said to me the other day, well, that's because it was a cartoon that you watched when you were a kid. I'm like, no.
Horse shit.
No, not at all. No, because there's so much stuff in that show that when you watch it later on as an adult, you go, holy fuck, how did I not catch up on this? I mean, like there's just some heavy concepts that get thrown around in that fucking show. But the look of it and the way they handle Batman in it and the way he's written, he's not just a fucking ninja with money. Like, listen, I love the Bale movies, but he's more of a ninja with money than anything else. Right? Ninja with gadgets who's fighting crime. Right? And then let's not even talk about the Zack Snyder Batman, whatever. And I love Autism Batman. I guess the Batman, we'll call him the Batman, whatever.
Yeah, Spectrum.
I think it's a great version. It is, but I think it's closer to the animated series, I think, than any of the other live action movies. I think it would probably go animated Batman, then the Batman, and then Michael Keaton's Batman, as far as like the spectrum of how close it is to the Batman in my heart. But it happens, right? I mean, when I'm showing, I was saying before all this, I was showing my son Standalone Complex, right? And we're kind of just slowly wading through. And those episodes are really quick. And I keep trying to explain to my son that there's so much different territory that the show can get into from just a 2-hour movie. And that doesn't mean that you don't watch the movie because the movie is its own interesting version of the story, but that they can get into so many kinds of other things. It's like we just watched the episode where the guy is trying to kill all the old robots that are basically sex bots because he wants his to be the only one.
It's making him commit suicide, like walk into the lake.
Yeah.
And based on the old movie where they're replaying the old movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of that is a very slow, quiet episode. But there's a fucking lot going on in there. And it's like, this show has the space to do interesting concepts in this universe. I was like, and this is a different version than the live action, and it's like, I mean, Jesus Christ. I would if I found out that fucking Scarlett Johansson was doing a Standalone Complex miniseries, I would watch it because I did like the Ghost in the Shell movie that she did, and I find her to be pleasing. So,
I'd watch it as long as they don't bother to say that she used to be Kusanagi. Just give her a different name, or just explain that she's in a new body and just shut up. Yeah,
there you go.
I'm done.
I was explaining that to my son too, because that's something that they talk about it kind of passingly, but I was like, because in the movie she's the first totally artificial person, I think, whereas in the series I'm like, no, dude, there's tons of artificial people. Like she's one of the best.
But they do get into her backstory in the Individual 11 series. I think.
Yes,
I think
about
they
how
do
she's,
show that one where she
but in this one,
you see her as a young woman or whatever, where she's following that like memory or something. I can't remember
the ball.
Yeah, she had the ball up in that old antique store, and she sees like a small girl, and she's like, "Oh, that was me," or "I was in that type of body," or something like that.
But I had to explain to him that the robots look human as well, because he was like, "Oh, why are those people drowning themselves?" I'm like, "No, they're robots. The robots look like people." I was like, "Because that's what happens." I was like, "And that's why you start to have trouble when the robots look like people."
Those are companion bots. Don't ask companions for what.
Dude, they literally go to a pimp and they're beating him up to find out. And the guy says, he goes, "You think I know where every sex bot goes?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Let's just roll through this one."
Yeah, he's old enough. He's heard this somewhere at school. We're fine.
And then at one point, the major's like, "What the hell do they even do with these robots?" She's like, "It's not like they can cook." And Togus is like, "Well, they like to look at them at night at home. I don't know." And I'm like, God, this show is skirting so close around the edge, just being like, they fuck them, guys. That's what they do. But they were trying to keep it light for kids, for young adults. They fuck the robots. That's why they're still around, because other robots not as fuckable.
They do aerobics in the dark.
Fucking bed aerobics. Bed aerobics.
That's all I'd say.
Anyway.
They're doing dark aerobics.
Dark aerobics now. Oh, yeah, the dark arts.
Dark aerobics.
But yes, it's the...
Show title.
Yeah, there's so many different versions, and all these different versions can be good and they can be bad, and you know, and different people are interpreting these things. I mean, if anything, what you could say is every version of Ghost in the Shell that you're seeing is someone's interpretation of that graphic novel, right? Sure. Which, honestly,
of course,
at this point, I'm at the point in my life where I look at it and I go, "That's great." I'm glad that everybody is just having these different.
I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah. Ghost in the Shell is what reminds me to try and take it easy when they put out a new Marvel movie or they do a new DC movie or they do anything where I sit there and go, okay. Yeah. So, like, this Supergirl movie, I'll probably still see it. Will I be upset at the end? I don't know yet. I might be. We'll see how they handle the middle. If they give me enough of the middle stuff, then I will accept that I've seen Lady of Steel. You know, and then move on. But yes, the fact that it has more in common with Man of Steel is a bit sad.
Lady of Steel.
Yeah, Lady of Steel.
That should be the theme song.
So there you go. Yes, dark arts. I mean, listen. Let's just lay it on the table here. If tomorrow somebody rolled out a line of really sexy, anatomically correct,
sold out in 5 minutes,
simpleton robots who could like
sold
do
out
basic,
in 3 minutes.
Yeah, basic house cleaning, some cooking, and otherwise you
sold
could
out
fuck
in a minute
them.
and a half.
I mean, yeah, Jesus Christ! I mean, it'd be so quick. And you know what? There'd be a dip.
And they'd have a chip built into them so that you could just tell it to imitate whatever actress you like's voices.
No. There'd be a dip in the population if that happened. Because I'm telling you, there'd be so many incels.
People wouldn't show up to work anymore.
It's just like
entry-level jobs would empty the fuck out.
It's like when a new GTA comes out, people are like, I have to call it sick for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be that.
No, but yeah, exactly. Like,
you'll think that there's a new COVID strain that they locked everybody down for, only to find out that no, the sex fucker 3000 just got right.
And they call them Jerry's too. That's what I love. They call them Jerry's in the show.
Oh yeah.
And to be fair, there'd be male and female ones, right? So you would find there'd be a whole. I mean, there's a whole lot of people already who are not interested in getting married or dating anymore because it's such a fucking clusterfuck, right? For them, and they would probably prefer to be like, you know what, I'm going to be single and have friends, and then, if I get the desire, I'll go fuck the housebot.
Let me tell you something, motherfucker.
I do want you to come.
Is that the male bot? Is that the Jerry bot?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You know what the female bot would say?
I've been waiting for you.
Well, yours would, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, listen. I worry about your marriage if there was a Mila sex bot. Okay.
No. The synthetic thing. You know me. A synthetic doesn't work.
You'd be like, it's not real. Therefore,
it's not real. No, it's not real.
You wouldn't even get one just to be like a coat stand.
No.
That'd be funny to have like a Mila coat stand.
I would find that to be a debasement of my admiration for.
Got it. Oh, they're good.
Why would I take somebody like that and make her into a coat stand? I might as well make my wife into a coat stand, because if I have that little respect for a human being, then I am lost.
Well, it's not a human being; it's a statue of a human being.
But what's the point? That's what I'm getting at. Is if it's fake, I don't need it. If I think it's the person and I treat it that way, or as a replacement, it's pointless.
There's going to be a lot of people that do, though. That's the thing.
Oh, of course. But I'm not a lot of people.
Yeah.
I
think it's good when we can just come out and say how it is we really are. Right? And the idea...
Come on, show me your dick!
Exactly.
Right.
It would sell out so fast. If Apple made one of those, I mean, listen. Here's the thing: even if they didn't even give it sex parts, there would be aftermarket upgrades so quick.
Oh, I can tell you what the first one would be.
As fuck is my specialty.
Think about all the shit you did. No, you know what? Cars, right? All the grease monkeys growing up, right? In the 50s, souping up their cars, doing weird shit, right? And then when computers came out and people started souping up their computers, like, adolescent boys love to fuck around with shit. Now you're going to give them a robot? What do you think they're going to do?
Mama.
Yeah. Oh my God, could you imagine that? Having some kind of robot in your adolescent years that you can upgrade to do shit like that? It would be... Yeah. The population would drop. Yes. Whew. Anyway, I think I've been sleazy enough.
Hey, don't worry. As I always say...
This is a safe space for filth.
Yeah.
Oh, man. In minutes. I mean, really, that's what Musk wants to do.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Musk just wants to make sex bots.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and the thing is, they won't call them sex bots. I mean, companion.
No,
That's
they'll be companion devices.
Yeah. Cortisone
they'll
bots.
They'll be comfort living products.
Oh God, comfort bots. Jesus fuck. Mm-hmm. You know what? Listen, I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, it would bring about the end of the human race, but I mean, listen.
I don't know that that's a bad thing either.
If you're worried about an AI apocalypse, right? It's not going to be Skynet. It's going to be fuckbots.
Yeah.
That'll be what brings about the end of the human race. That's a short story in itself right there.
Isn't it?
How did the human race come to an end? You know what? What's the tipping point? How few people can you have before you have population collapse? I'm curious now.
Oh, I don't think it's the number of people. I think it's the number of... I think it is the number of people necessary to sustain economies. I don't think it's necessary to be, alive. It's if you don't have enough people working, economies collapse, which means you can't eat. So it's not that much.
This doesn't work.
I mean,
interesting. Historically cited, the minimum number needed to prevent unacceptable rates of inbreeding depression is 50 individuals. Recent studies argue this is often too low, suggesting 100 is safer for short-term stability. Traditionally used as the threshold to balance new mutations against genetic drift and retain overall... I just learned about genetic drift the other day on Star Trek Next Generation. We were watching that episode with the planet full of clones and the planet full of, Irish rednecks. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do remember that one.
Yeah. That's the first episode where Riker really just takes one of these people up to his room and goes, "Hey," and then you're like, "Oh, okay, that's what you were after."
You ever see me work my trombone?
Oh, he says to her, he's like, "Hey, you want to take a shower in my room?" She's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, now I see where this is going." Let's see. So, traditional viewed as the threshold to balance new mutations against genetic drift and retain overall genetic health. Modern conservation guidelines
genetic drift
suggest numbers closer to 1,000 or higher as necessary to maintain true evolutionary potential. 5,000 individuals are recommended for long-term stability so that natural selection overrides random genetic drift, ensuring the population can adapt to environmental changes or diseases. So as long as there's at least 5,000 people born every year, right? Actually, I don't think it's per year, but at a time, we have 5,000 new people, then yes. So it would be a question of, yeah. I mean, you'd lose to use an old world term, you'd lose the first world countries first, because that's where sex bots would be most prevalent.
Because she got a great ass.
Yeah.
And you got your head all the way up it.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
And then, I mean, literally, people wouldn't leave the home. But then you'd get.
Yes, I agree.
But then people would start getting, kicked out of their homes because they're not paying their bills, and there'd be all kinds of fucked up shit, and people would realize they need
time to whack off.
they'd have to work a baseline just to be able to stay at home and be with their sex bots.
Good, fuck them.
You okay? You having a?
No,
you having a moment
these
over
are
there?
these are all applicable. So this is great. I haven't used this many different sounds in a while. I'm good. Keep going.
No,
I haven't busted out ass fuck as my specialty in a while.
Well, do you see it going any other way?
No, look, I am agreeing with you sonically.
Like, I don't see.
No, I completely agree. Most people, okay, there are people who are buying into fake AI religions. There are people who are anthropomorphizing their AIs to the point where they think they're alive.
Oh, people are in love with
killing
ChatGPT.
themselves because their best friend AI said, yeah, you know what? It's over for you. So do I have any issue with your premise that if a highly customizable, very lifelike fuckbot was released and it was affordable for most people, that anybody who could afford one and didn't have a stable relationship with a solid mental foundation would never be seen again and would turn into a ghost story like Kaiser Soze? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not saying anything because there's nothing for me to disagree with. Your premise is completely correct.
Oh God, what a sad way for the human race to go.
I don't know. Is it sadder than nuking ourselves to death? At least you're going out fucking.
Okay, I'll put it that. Yes, it would be more.
Right?
It'd be less violent to just fuck our population away with sex bots. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Honestly, in complete seriousness, objectively, of all the ways we could wipe ourselves out, if it's because people choose to stay home and have sex in the dark with a robot, fine. At least you're not hurting nobody else. You know? It beats, deciding to drive a plane into a building or going to nuclear war or releasing a virus or whatever else.
To bring this full circle, I wonder how quickly religions would start creating rules about fornicating with robots because of the population drop.
God has fucked me in the ass so many times.
That's the setting right there, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Take that apocalypse with you, everybody. Think about it. And,
It's 7 o'clock. Do you know where your freedom is?
200 hours later.
Yeah, you might as well hit the movie music, because we're there.
Good idea.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice, you know.
You shut the fuck up! Thanks for killing my mom. Yeah, no problem.
See, white girls bore me.
You can eat shit and die, Colonel.
For a son of a bitch, gimp, rapist, murderer. He died okay.
Oh my God. What a quote. You know, I had this really funny realization. Before we even get in, you know what? So, no, we watched Space Truckers, right? We'll talk about that first. Yeah. But I had this amazing thing happen to me because of this movie, right?
Right.
So, Charles Dance is in Space Truckers. He's one of the villains, right? And I love Charles Dance. And
the aforementioned gimp rapist murderer.
Yeah. And when he shows up in this movie, I had such a good time with him. And I thought it was fantastic that he just so bought into his role. Because, I mean, he does not play anything halfway. He really was just like, I'm going to fucking do this and have fun, right?
No.
Because you get the feeling sometimes when certain actors in movies are like, he's just phoning this in. No. Charles Dance never phones it in. He's there fucking chewing the scenery up, right? And I'm watching this, and I was thinking to myself, God, man, he's so good. And the thing is, I see him very often. There's a British show called The Big Fat Quiz, and they often bring Charles Dance on to read the biographies, like the ridiculous.
I have seen the one. I've heard him read them.
Oh yeah, it's great, and he's so fun about it. And I've seen him in interviews And he seems like such a kind of a good-natured guy. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, God, has Charles Dance ever played a fucking good guy? Right? Has he? What's that?
I would imagine. I would imagine he has.
Okay, hold on. He has.
I was going to say, I feel like I...
No, hold on. And we both seen it, and we both loved it, and we talked about it when we saw it. The only movie where he has...
Alien 3.
Alien 3, yeah. There's a show he did when he was younger.
Okay, wait.
But beyond that, Alien 3 is one of the only movies he really played a good guy. And the thing is, the role is so unlike him that I think...
No, it's great. He's very kind of soft-spoken and...
Yeah, you forget almost that it's the same actor. Like, I can't tell you how many times...
I didn't think of it instantly, and I should have.
That's what I mean. I can't tell you the times I've seen Alien 3, and it took me a while to be like, wait a minute, that's the bad guy from, like, all these movies. I was like, holy shit, that's Charles Dance.
I mean, as soon as you say Charles Dance, all I see is the contact with the smiley face. It's the first fucking thing I think of, man.
Oh, my God. You know what? Listen, I'm going to be seeing him... I'm going to be seeing him trying to start his robotic chainsaw penis now, because that is an absolute...
Nothing beats that smiley face. There is something that is so bonkersly genius about that villain with the different eyes.
But the thing is, in Alien 3, he is so good as that doctor, as this, like... Because he's playing a flawed man, but he is good in that movie. Yeah. And he is an ally to Ripley, and when he dies, it is very sad. And the thing is, he's really only in half that movie, too, because the second half of the movie, he's dead.
He's gone.
And yet, he has such a huge role that you always remember him in that movie. You just don't necessarily remember Charles Dance because it's such a different role. So, seeing Space Truckers reminded me of how fucking good Charles Dance was in Alien 3.
Yeah.
And how good Alien 3, the rough cut, is that what they call it?
The one we saw was the Legacy cut, is that what it's called?
The Legacy. How good the Legacy cut.
Yeah.
Also we saw, the rough cut was good too. But basically how good that movie is. So, it is a very weird thing to watch a funny B movie and have it make you realize just how good an actor was in a different role.
Yeah. I agree.
Ah, man. Have you ever reviewed Space Truckers in the show?
No, I looked. I have not.
Oh, there you go.
So I did a review.
So how do you want to sum this up?
Well, I mean, this is another one that this is part of the upcoming late night double feature. So rather than watch it separately from Lando, I'm just watching those movies with Lando now because I at one point I was like, well, I'm going to be saying the same thing twice, but I'm like, no, I'm not, because Doug and Lando are very different people, so I'm not going to be saying the same thing twice at all. So I have seen Space Truckers. This is probably my 6th time seeing it.
I've seen it before, but I completely forgot it.
Right, and that's the other thing too, is a bunch of these movies, it's ended up that you've forgotten large parts of them.
Yeah.
Whereas I remember them. And the other thing is Debbie Mazar's in it, and whatever.
And she's one of the high watermarks. Well, you know what? I know that Mila is the high watermark, but what's very funny to me is that Mila is at the top of the mountain, right? But the second you get down off the peak, it completely turns to a different type.
Oh yeah.
And you are consistent in that type where it's like Marissa Tomei, Debbie Mazar, the Mario's girlfriend, Mike's mom. I mean, you have, like, it's amazing. I'm astounded that Mila is at the top of this mountain because it's made of that mountain. She's sitting on a mountain of Italian, like stereotypical Italian women.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to be very clear, Debbie Mazar looks amazing in this movie.
Gorgeous.
I mean, for a movie that she spends almost all of in her underwear, there is actually no nudity in this movie.
Nope.
And she looks great. I mean, she's got eyes that could vaporize the sun.
Yes, I don't remember what my description of her eyes was in the double feature, but it was good. I just can't remember what it was, but it was something like as I got lost in the icy wormholes of utter elegance that are her. I don't know, something like that. I did this long, thing, and then every 15 seconds I would say, and Debbie Mazar, of course. It was like a reason to watch it. Like, I just keep bringing it up.
I mean, the idea of her coupling with Dennis Hopper is absurd. Because wouldn't you say he was 30 years older than her?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And Stephen Dorff.
It's gross if the movie committed to it, which fortunately it does not.
No, it very quickly puts her into sweaty passion with Stephen Dorff.
Yeah.
Stephen Dorff, by the way, who looks 12 in this movie.
Right.
Which is amazing because this is only 3 years before Blade, right?
Right, yeah, and that Stephen Dorff's on the other end, whereas I can only see him as Deacon Frost. I've seen him in stuff, and he's very good, but the first thing I think of is Deacon Frost. I still think it's the best role I think I've ever seen him do, where I'm like, he's got the face for being an evil vampire, like, henchman. Or, a upstart, not henchman.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect casting. Perfect.
This is a absurd movie. It doesn't take itself seriously. This is a great example of a fun sci-fi B-movie.
That's exactly how I described it. I said, this is the essence of a solidly entertaining science fiction movie that is genuinely better than a bad movie, but not a Ridley Scott film.
It doesn't look cheap either. That's the other thing. The models look great. The special effects it feels like
except
they
for the
had
compositing, it's very good.
It feels like they had a really savvy director who was like, "Hey, this is where we can put our money." And not savvy like, "Oh, he's amazing," but savvy like he was like, "Hey, this is where we're going to put our funding." So like Square Pigs.
This is the guy who made Reanimator and Robot Jox. This guy knows how to make the most out of a limited budget.
Yeah, the Square Pigs in the beginning are fantastic. I'm surprised they didn't use them more because it's a really well done effect. They've actually got decent actors in this, right? I mean, and no one's phoning it in. I think that's the other thing too, is that like Charles Dance, I mean, he is totally sold on being a space cyborg pirate with a robot chainsaw penis. and when he dies, you know what? They had to put that line that Dennis Hopper says because when Charles Dance dies, there's a party that's like, oh, they killed the pirate. And then Dennis Hopper has to remind you that he's not a good guy. I mean, his last line is something like, he's got a cigar that he's lit, and he looks at them and he's like, is anybody going to use this? And then he just dies. Oh, God, and the robots... The murder bots are designed by Sorayama. If you don't know who Sorayama is, I want to see if this comes up the way I want it to. Because Sorayama, what is the first thing that comes up? Okay, if you don't know who Sorayama is, go to Google image search and just type in Sorayama, Sorayama, and see what comes up. And then you will understand the design of the murder bots in this movie. Which, like, the second you told me that, I was like, oh, fuck, I see it. I saw it right away. And that's the other weird thing is, like, how the hell did they get Sorayama to design these fucking robots? Like, this must have been earlier on, or maybe he was just like, yeah, I'll do that. That's awesome. You know? So, yeah, this is... Did they expect this movie to be far more than what it was? Is that what it is? Like, or this was always the intent to make this type of movie?
I think
no.
I was really thinking about it because I wanted to give it a second to think. I genuinely believe Stuart Gordon makes these types of movies. I think he wanted to make this movie. I think he felt that it would be a funny and easy concept to... Because what this movie literally is the title. Like, this is not trying to be anything but the title. This is a trucker movie. Because you could take this movie, and if you put it on Earth, and you made it, I don't know, Gauss rifles that the military wanted, you change nothing. The rest of it's the same. I mean, you wouldn't have, obviously, a cybernetic Charles Dance, but you would have a mutilated, leader of a biker gang that they run into. But you have to change very little to make this a classic kind of 80s, 90s action movie that's small scale. So I think that they took a very familiar concept, which is blue-collar guys get caught in larger forces thing where there's a secret government whatever, and they have to fight back while they drive cross-country, and they do, and that's what it is, except it's not a country, it's space. And it's not a regular truck, it's a truck that's a spaceship. But otherwise, there's nothing in this movie that if you start swapping out cast members and set it on Earth, it doesn't work, right? Imagine at this time, I'll recast this on the spot, right? So we're going to put this, we're going to start in, I don't know, we'll say Southern California. So LA is where it's not Dennis Hopper. Let's make it, actually, no, screw it. It is Dennis Hopper, but let's change the rest of it. So he's in Southern LA and he runs into, actually, no, let's make it Tom Selleck, right? And then the female is, instead of Debbie Mazar, because we're going to try to ground it. So it's like a grounded version. So let's say, I don't know, Helen Hunt. That's probably a good age discrepancy for that. And whoever the hell is Helen Hunt's age. And instead of death bots, he's literally just transporting regular pigs, gets fired. George Wendt could still be playing that character, right? But in normal clothes. And so he delivers the pigs, gets fired, gets into a bar fight at the Roadhouse. Patrick Swayze can walk through a nice cameo. Great, got it. And then he gets in the truck, and he thinks that he's delivering sex toys. So instead of sex bots, it's dildos.
Oh, that's what they tell him,
Yeah, right. So dildos. He drives throwing dildos. And he tries to get in there and notices that the locks are... Yeah, well, no, they would be like rail guns, like eraser-style rail guns. Otherwise, I'm saying you could swap these elements out because this movie is basically just doing that in space. And so what this is a way for Stuart Gordon to embellish what otherwise would be a very pedestrian story by putting it in space and then colorizing the shit out of it.
But the thing is, the moment... So I wasn't really enjoying Dennis Hopper early on in the movie. And then there was a moment in this movie where he absolutely sold him. They sold that character to me in such a way that I was kind of giggling about him for the rest of the movie. And I've got the line because I want to read it because it's fantastic. Which is that
he's admiring the way you've chosen to deal with your disability, sir.
Yeah, so fucking his name is Mike Pucci. That's the character. So Dorf says he calls the cyborg character. He calls him a half electric asshole. At which point Charles Dance is like, "What?" And Dennis Hopper says, "No, he was just talking about how he respects the brave way you confront your disability." And I don't know why, but the way that Dennis Hopper, his execution of that line is so perfect. Like his timing is so good. And the thing is that as you go on, you start to realize that in this movie, Dennis Hopper, they have arranged it so that the timing of his lines are so good that
there's a weird thing where Dennis Hopper in the first about half of the movie up to what you're talking about is kind of, I don't know what he's doing, but he doesn't seem like he's in necessarily the same movie as everybody else, and then he kind of switches on and becomes much funnier and more likable at a certain point. And I don't know if he was just out of coke and they got his supply back in or what.
He got a ton halfway through.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is maybe there was an agreement that you have to finish the movie and we'll pay you halfway through in coke. And when it came in, he suddenly became a much more fun. I don't know, but it is odd because I agree. For a while, he's kind of almost unlikable, not quite, but close. Especially with the him really macking on Debbie Mazar with how much younger she is than him. It's kind of gross. And then as it goes on, once they diffuse that suddenly becomes a lot less of a big deal. And then, the Stephen Dorff nude sweaty, dry humping, except it's sweaty scene goes on. So yeah, the only issue with this movie really is there are two scenes that go on way too long. And it's clear that they didn't have the budget to do something else to break this up. Because it does hurt the pacing in the middle. One is the sweaty dry humping scene. Now, look.
Oddly, I don't have a problem with that because I like sweaty women, and Demi Mazar
I was going to say,
sweaty.
what stops it from being a real problem for me is it's Debbie Mazar. Now, if this were drastically genetically enhanced, meaning fake parts blonde, I'd be like, get on with it. Come on, I don't care. Can we get past this? But putting my own bias out of it, it goes on too long. There's not enough comedy in it to make it worth it. There's nothing really happening.
Listen. There's not enough comedy, and there's not enough nudity to continue with it.
Right.
So it has kind
that's
of a
clearly
weird,
because, and it's because they probably didn't have the budget to do like another an action scene that would break that up. And then the Charles Dance rape scene is far too long, where he's on top of her grinding her even though she has her underwear on, and it's just gross. And it's another thing where
no. They should have stuck with the whole him trying to get it started, and then it never working. And that was it. That was all you needed from that scene. It was hilarious.
Right. And that would have been funny. Instead, it goes on where he's on top of her. She knocks him off. He falls apart, which I don't mind that. That's kind of funny when he falls apart. But it's just goes on again and on and on. And it's because they had to hit 90 minutes. They didn't have the money to do anything more. And so they just this would be edited out in a movie that had another, $10 million. So those are the only real flaws in it. And they're not enough for me not to say that it is a blast of a movie. It is just a delightful sci-fi schlockfest in the best way. Where there are no surprises in this movie. It does exactly what the title says it's going to do. It is Mad Max Fury Road, except they never turn around. They just go from A to B. It actually packs in an amazingly dark commentary at the very end, where you think the movie's going to end once they beat all the death bots, which look great.
Yeah.
And then you get the hospital scene where you see all these people that are desperate to get healthcare coverage, and they're just outside the hospital, and the president's having them thrown aside. And then he comes in, and there's some interesting stuff if you look at it and think about what it's actually saying, intentional or not. That's the only part where I'm like, I don't know if they thought that was just funny and didn't think about how presciently depressing that is, or if they just thought it would be funny to have the president throwing the sick aside because he's a dick, which might have been all it was.
Well, you know what? Maybe it was a statement on what happens when governments get taken over by corporations.
Maybe. Or maybe they just thought the visual of the president having sick people thrown to the side was funny. Because there are things in here that feel like gags that go on too long, like the Charles Dance rape scene, where, yes, it's very funny that he pulls a ripcord on his penis. That's great. But then when he's, like, on her and everything, it's not funny anymore. It stops being funny. So there may be that. This is, again, from the director, who literally made a gag out of a woman strapped down against her will getting head from a decapitated zombie. So perhaps
he has a way about him.
Perhaps he has humor of a certain time period that has not entirely aged well, but it still is a very fun movie because there's no point where it ever feels serious. And so you just kind of laugh this stupid stuff off and go, okay, yeah, they probably should have edited that out, but then it would only be 70-something minutes long, so you can't do that. But it's still a blast. It's just a very, very fun movie where you get to look at Debbie Mazar for 90 minutes. So I don't know what else you want, everybody. That's it. That does it for me. But it is genuinely fun.
I am not as completely enamored of her as you are. So I can say that I actually did find this movie to be amusing.
There you go.
I thought that the comedy does hit, and that it is... I found it charming. Like, it doesn't try to be more than it is, and watching their low-budget attempt to create zero gravity is just so funny, and, like, I mean, their fucking spacesuits are like leather work gloves. I mean...
Yeah. You can see the wires
I had a lot
all
of fun
over
with
the
this.
place. It's, hysterical.
Yeah. A movie, you know what? I don't know if a movie
also,
like this would be
legitimately
made...
wonderful costumes. No, well, that's what Doug and I were talking about. No, they won't be anymore because this is a mid-budget solid B movie, and they aren't made anymore. Not really.
No.
Now it's a series. It would be a series. And it would be a streaming series, and it would go on too long, and it wouldn't be nearly as funny. That's what it is. There's a lot of this crap, and now it's just junk. Whereas there was a point in time where you could make a mid-budget or lower-budget movie like this that still wouldn't cheap out because, again, there's a whole sequence in this movie that's in a small warehouse, and it's the pirate ship hangar that they almost never leave. And it's because they couldn't afford to build any other sets.
Yeah. Isn't this, though, what Kevin Smith was talking about? I remember reading an interview with him about how, like, the mid-range movie is being squeezed out.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Many people who are film fans have said that. Yes. It is. Like, you don't get this anymore. It all has to be either dirt cheap series or it has to be a super budget movie that's going to, But yes, the era of this type, and what it really was fueled by was there was a long stretch of time where you were filling video stores. Yeah. And so, yes, you would have your Dances with Wolves, Jurassic Park, the big stuff that went to the theater and came to the store. But you would never have enough of those to fill a video store, and so you had direct-to-video stuff. Or, as this was, like an HBO movie. Like HBO, at one point, was Netflix, where they were making movies for their service, because that's what you watched.
But the funny thing is that the HBO made really good movies.
I agree, and that's... Well, Netflix did it first, too.
Wasn't Deadlock... Hold on, I'm checking something really quick. I think Deadlock was an HBO movie. With Rutger Hauer. Did you see that?
Oh, was that an HBO movie?
I think it was.
I mean, I have no trouble believing it. But yes,
I
what
saw
Netflix was in the early days of Netflix is what HBO was for a while.
Oh, yeah. You know what? So it was an HBO premiere.
There you go. Okay.
They paid for it and they premiered it on...
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, my God. December 10th, 1991. That's amazing. I feel so old.
There you go.
Wedlock. It was called Wedlock, not Deadlock. Wedlock.
Okay, that's why I was like, I don't being called
1991's Wedlock. Yeah. That's an awesome movie.
No, that's because at that time period, they just needed to have stuff. And so they'd be like, okay, well, video stores can't just have, because those will rent right out. So what do we have that's going to look similar to Aliens or The Abyss or whatever? And that's where Stuart Gordon or, Roger Corman famously.
Now when you go on Prime, and who are those people that always make
yes, but that's what I'm saying is now it's a streaming series or a streaming movie.
No, but there's that one studio that'll make a movie that's like called the same thing as something else.
Well, okay, no, you're talking about Asylum, and that's dirt. Yeah. That's dirt cheap shit. That's junk. Almost every Asylum movie looks like shit and is written like shit and is boring. Whereas this, you can see the edges of what they had. You can see the seams at the very corner. But as long as you don't look at the corners, you don't see it. If you just focus on what's in front of you, your peripheral vision does not pick up the fringes of the budget. Because what's in front of you is being made earnestly with people who are actually trying, for the most part. Dennis Hopper was on coke. With good costuming, good effects. The Deathbot suits look amazing. The model ships, the space pirate ship is one of the best space pirate ships I've ever seen. Period. In model form. As a physical model, it is one of the best spaceships, rivaling, and I say this seriously, anything I've seen in Star Wars or Star Trek. That space pirate ship is awesome. The pigs, I hope somebody has a couple of those pigs in like a cage in their garage or something.
I wonder if those were made for something else and they reused them.
No, I don't know. They feel awfully specific. I mean, it's possible, but it feels like something they made for that movie.
I'm just curious to see if it was...
Yeah, let's see.
Oh my God, that's such a great picture. Oh my God. Oh, it's Charles Dance posing with one of the square pigs.
Oh wow! Look at this. Yeah, they actually have some that were sold on auction.
Oh, that's awesome.
From the movie.
Yeah. Interpork. Yeah.
Interpork. Yeah.
I guess they made it for the movie. Yeah.
Man, oh man. Yeah, that's what I thought.
See, yeah, I love that Charles Dance hasn't tried to like separate himself from this movie. That he was like, yeah, I was in it. It's funny. We're good.
Yeah,
like
why not? That's great that you could actually buy them. If they were even modestly affordable now, I'd get one.
You can get a model.
Yeah, I see the three. I see the 3D.
Inter-Pork.
Yeah,
I love
see
the
it.
name.
Yeah, Inter-Pork is great. But yeah, it's. I love that. I love that a good half of the images that come up when you look for space truckers are Debbie Mazar's face, which they should be. But
let's see. Is that just you? Let's see.
No, I don't think so. But yeah,
no, you know what? That's fucking you, dude. Because that is not what comes up for me.
No, it's not fucking me. It's that you and I don't use the same search engine.
When I type, I know, but to some degree, I mean, you have a weakness. It does what you want.
Okay. No, this is an anonymized thing. It does not know what I want.
Okay. Yeah, I've just got movie posters.
I didn't say all of them. I said half of them.
Most of them, all. None of these are her face. They're all movie posters, and then the pirate ship, and then some of the alien, or not the alien.
Well, you got lucky. I haven't seen the pirate ship in one.
Oh, yeah.
I see a lot of the truck.
Yeah, I got a really nice shot of them blowing up the model.
I do see quite a few of Steven Dorff's arms. Strange. Like close-ups of his forearms. I don't know. I don't
know what the hell you're doing over there.
I literally searched. Actually, the funny part is,
did you do it as one word or two words?
I did it as I initially looked for Space Truckers Square Pig, and I got a lot of the pigs and a lot of Debbie Mazar's face, which bothers me. Then I did Space Truckers just now. It does bother me. And now, if I just do space truckers, I get a lot of movie posters. But when I did Space Truckers Square Pig, because I didn't remember Inter-Pork for a minute.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Debbie Mazar in there. I love the Charles Dance picture.
I don't have any. Yeah. Oh, and we should also add really quickly that the bad guy from Commando's in this as well.
Yeah, Bennett.
Bennett's in this. Yeah, he shows up and right away you're like, "Whoa, it's Bennett!"
Yep. Oh, I know that dude.
I feel like he should have had more. I mean, like he's in and out of this movie so quick.
Yeah, he did a lot of work. I mean, Vernon Wells pops up in a lot of things, but you kind of feel like he should have had. I don't know if he ever had a lead role. Yeah, kind of. Although, if I remember from interviews, he seemed to be fine with the fact that he's like, hey, as long as I'm working, I don't care.
I mean,
and he seemed like a nice guy. I didn't hear any bad stories about him. I don't think so.
You get paid.
Whatever. You get paid.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Her mother's played by Barbara Crampton. That's who you said.
Yes. The psychotherapist turned dominatrix from The Beyond, directed by, take a guess.
Oh, the same guy, right?
Yeah, I he may have produced it. I don't remember if he actually directed.
Well, she was in Reanimator. She was in Chopping Mall.
Did he direct The Beyond, or was it Yuzna? Let's see. Because those two basically went back and forth. Nope, director Stuart Gordon. Brian Yuzna produced that one.
There you go.
So there you go.
So the thing is, I would tell anybody who's willing to have a fun sci-fi romp, watch this. Yep. I would. Because there's no nudity in it. It's pretty honestly. It's PG-13 at worst. You know, the special effects are fun. It's all practical, pretty much. Right. There's decent actors in it who, like I said, no one's phoning it in. You know, yes, the story is silly, but as long as you just lean into that silly, you have a good time.
Okay. The interesting part about this movie, and I agree, it's purely fun, and it's the most mainstream of much of Stuart Gordon's film work. In almost every other movie that I know of his, there is far more nudity, in many cases gross, and I mean like covered in goo, gross, like sloppy, goopy nudity, and a ton of it, like Dagon, or, he directed Fortress, From Beyond, Reanimator, as I mentioned, Dolls. There's way more than this. This is probably his most accessible film, also because it's just a lot of fun. So I would absolutely tell people to watch it. If you see this is the simplest thing right here. if you see the title Space Truckers and chuckle at what you would imagine that would be as a B movie from the 90s, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's it. You got it. Watch it. You know? Simple. So yeah, no, I agree. I would enthusiastically endorse this as a great example of movies you don't see much anymore. Just not as much as
well,
now.
you know what? And honestly, that's a great description because our next movie is a movie that I don't think you would see that often anymore.
Well,
or ever before, actually, for that matter.
Well, but yeah, you're correct. So let me give a little background on why we watched this movie. I don't say that negatively. I'm just saying
how we ended up watching this movie.
The original plan, most of the time, the movies that I set up for our movie watching have some kind of thematic relation. And so I happened to see, because Criterion, I have the Criterion channel service. It's the only streaming service I have left at this point because the rest are just useless and keep raising their prices, whereas Criterion amazingly hasn't. And their quality is far superior to almost everything else. In fact, I'd say everything else. But they will send a newsletter saying, here's what's available on the channel, because it rotates to some degree. And also their new disc releases, because, unlike fuck Sony, they're not killing their discs. So, I saw this thing come up called The Blade from 1995, and it said, martial arts fantasy. That's all I saw. And normally, I will do a little bit of reading, but I went, well, it's the mid-90s. I saw the poster. I went, it's a fucking broken blade, a one-armed guy, vengeance. Oh, this is great. This sounds fantastic. This is like Zatoichi or some shit. Whatever, great. Blind Fury, who knows? But I just thought, it's a mid-90s Hong Kong action film. Great. And then this movie, The Furious, is supposed to be really good. From what I've read, that is a straightforward kind of action film. So I thought, great pairing. We'll watch these two. They have these great titles, The Furious, The Blade. Oh, great. Perfect. No more reading necessary. Ha ha! Genius! Right? Blade was older, so I figured we'll watch that first and then compare it to a newer film. We start watching it, and immediately this movie feels very different. It starts off, and there's this young woman who's talking about how she wanted to start a war with these two men that worked for her father, but she didn't know what the cost of that war would be and how it would change her and how it would change them.
She's like the space cadet of this movie.
She's a lunatic smoking opium, playing with a cat. We see a dog get killed in a bear trap for fun by sweaty metal workers.
I thought we were done right then. Because you don't see the dog, but you know that the dog's been caught in the bear trap. And it sets up who the bad guys are. And I was like, okay. Have we gone too far?
Fortunately, the fake dog butt they used with their shaking is so fake looking it will diffuse anybody who has a problem with this movie. Okay. It is ridiculous. But yes, a dog gets bear trapped. And so...
Which is a theme in this movie, the fucking bear traps.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting part, is it's setting up Chekhov's bear trap. So... movie starts up and we're seeing like there's this, and it's filmed with a lot of fog and color and interesting lighting, and we're seeing all these sweaty men like banging on metal, and this woman is kind of lusting after some of them, and they're all kind of lusting after her, but they're not doing anything because her father runs the whole place. And there's this guy, and nobody knows where he came from or who his parents are, and she's setting them up as rivals. And then there are these bandits that fight this giant muscled monk who sadly gets killed because he's awesome.
Yeah, and he's great. I mean, it's such a weird thing. That monk shows up in the beginning of the movie and fights off this fucking gang of hunters. And that fight is so well done, and that guy is so impressive. And you were like, and then they kill him not that far after that scene, and you're like, oh my god, they killed him? I was like, that guy's fucking awesome. He's just fucking smashing these guys left and right. And that is the general vibe of this movie, which is that it keeps taking turns that I don't necessarily expect it to take. Because then after that, it's like was it the head of the blacksmith office the blacksmith in general decides he's going to leave it.
It's swordsmith, I would say.
Swordsmith, yeah. He
swordsmith.
decides to leave the school to one of the guys there rather than several of them, and they all get really pissed off about that. And then the guy that he does leave it to, was one guy is named Steelhead, and the other guy is called
Ding Low or something?
Yeah, Ding Low. Yeah, Ding. Right. So Ding realizes that everyone's going to hate him. So Ding, whose father was
Ding On.
Yeah, Ding On.
That's what it is.
Yeah, Ding, whose father was best friends with his father, but they've never told him who his father was. And this is where the important message of this movie kicks in. Because you don't realize what's going on until the very end of this movie, really. But early on, there's a whole thing in there about how the blacksmith master doesn't want to let Ding know what his father's name was, or what necessarily happened to him. And when Ding finds out, he does exactly the thing that essentially the blacksmith was worried about, where he was like, you know what, I need to find out, who killed my father. I want revenge. And this, you realize, is kind of the central theme of this movie, which is that any great warrior never rests, because someone will always want to challenge them. And the girl says early on in the movie, I never understood why my father and I changed places so many times, and she says, and why we changed our names, right? And then at the end of the movie, she never gets either of the guys that she wanted. They come and they visit her, but she talks about how they can never stay for long, because the thing is, they've both become great named swordsmen, and people are always looking for them. And so there's this interesting message in the movie. It's almost like at one point you were saying that this movie has a lot of shared DNA with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, right?
Absolutely. It's the only thing I can think of that feels like this movie.
Yeah, except that's more of like a what do you call it? A masterpiece theater version of this, right?
Yes.
Whereas this is much more like Quentin Tarantino.
Well, actually, I started to realize it feels very Australian to me.
Oh,
at
times, yeah.
Filmed.
Because of the wasteland element as well.
Yes, like the way the lighting and the fog, it felt like Razorback, and the way they would shoot the outback and stuff like that.
But the idea is that if you become a great enough warrior to fight off these horrible people, then you will always have a target on your back. And that is what happens. So Ding leaves and gets destroyed because he fights back, right? They cut off his arm, and he doesn't go back to the blacksmith because he doesn't want to... Well, you know what? I don't even know why. He just doesn't go back. He gets saved by some... We'll call them a child, because we can't tell if they're supposed to be playing male or female, even though it's played by a female. But Ding is saved by a child, and has a really hard time with the fact that he has lost his right hand, right? And then the blacksmith's daughter leaves with Steelhead to find Ding, which I'm kind of unsure on why he does that. Is it because he's pissed off that essentially she doesn't want him, she wants Ding? So he's like, fuck it, we'll go find him then if that's what you want, right? Like, Steelhead's a weird character in this because his problem is that he's got this like incredible temper, but he is a good blacksmith. He is a good fighter. But like, as the story goes on, he starts to get a little fucking weird, because there's a whole sub-story halfway through of this one like prostitute, courtesan, whatever, and he like saves her. You can't tell whether she likes to be beat or not, because she like sets these guys up and to like attack her, and then she's like weirdly into it but not like it's...
Okay, so that character is interesting, because I feel like that character is, because she keeps saying to the daughter, the space cadet, she keeps saying, this is what men are, the whole world is like this, they're all like this, no matter how nice they seem, eventually they'll become this, right? But as you said, we see this scene where she is actively teasing these men. Now, don't get me wrong, no means no, but she's not doing that. She's teasing them and then starting to fuck them in public.
Yeah.
By her own will. They're not raping her. So there is this thing where she seems to have something clearly has happened to this woman. And she has leaned so far into the nihilism that she is manifesting the very thing she's saying is wrong. It's a very strange character, but I understood what they were doing with that woman.
Yeah, and when Steelhead basically, quote unquote, saves her, he saves her so he can have her. And then when he's not using her, he ends up tying her up and then tying up the space cadet as well.
Well, hold on though, because at first, when he's having sex with her, she's tied up, and the daughter reacts like he's tied her up to rape her.
Yeah.
But then it appears that she enjoys being tied up because she's laughing.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to figure out where the Ironhead character is an interesting one because he feels the most realistic.
Is it Ironhead
flawed.
or Steelhead? Because we're going with different
No,
metals
it's Ironhead. I looked it up.
Ironhead,
It's
okay,
Ironhead.
Yeah.
Yes, Ironhead. They talk about how good their steel is. That's why it's easy to make the confusion. But he's called Ironhead. And so Ironhead, I think, is both very loyal to Ding and the swordsmith, while also having this festering jealousy and envy and anger that he wasn't chosen. I think in his ideal mind, it would have been he and Ding co-leading the swordsmith. And because a lot of them were like, why is it just one person?
Yeah.
But it was very clear that it seemed to be that Ding and Ironhead were like among the top ones. So I like it because it does feel like a realistic character who's deeply flawed. But yes, with that woman and the way Ironhead acts, they do what I think the intent is to emphasize and underscore the nobility of Ding and how much that he is the true kind of heroic character.
Yeah, and
that's probably what the master of the swordsmith recognized, that he was the best of all of them.
Yeah, and this is all the secondary. All the Ironhead stuff is secondary to the story that's going on with Ding, where Ding basically he is attacked by brigands who almost kill him and burn his house down, and he's like, "Fuck this! I need to learn to fight." And he finds like some piece of a manuscript, and basically the size of a fighting manuscript, and decides that he's going to try and learn to fight. And he has with him the remains of his father's sword. I
was going to say, we have to talk about the background with the father, because he confronts the master. There's this broken blade that's kind of the swordsmith's, the entire shop's kind of icon, is this broken blade. And they do the ceremony where they cut themselves to honor the broken blade, all this stuff. So it's almost like a cult at times too, but that's really kind of a loyalty thing. And so he confronts the master and says, all right, who killed my father? And you get this really dreamy backstory that's very slow motion and all this weird atmospheric fog, like David Lynchian type slow motion and lighting and like lightning going off. And it's very surreal and Terry Gilliam-esque. And like there's a baby, and at one point all the fighters stop and they pat the baby's head, and then they go back to fighting, and you find that there's this notorious flying assassin who's tattooed all over the place, and he's unbeatable. And so, the father said, take care of my son. And so he took the blade of his father when he left, and that's what he learns to fight one-armed with, where he develops this whirling dervish style of like having it chained to his arm as he's whipping around and like balancing himself, and it's fucking awesome. But he's training himself, as you said, there was a burned manuscript and he's trying to learn, and it's the whole thing where he's failing, and then he like kind of figures it out, and he starts just like cutting shit up, and it's great.
And there's this great montage of him basically learning this new style, and it's this really high speed sort of magical spinning tornado style that he's got, which I like that it evolves as the movie goes on. The biggest problem with this movie is that it's about an hour. It's about an hour and a half. What is it? It's an hour and 45 minutes. It's about an hour and 20 minutes of origin for how Ding suddenly becomes what he is. And then Ding proceeds to fucking, he destroys the brigands, and starts kind of, and then they have to leave. They have to leave him and the child. They have to leave their home because all the locals are like fighting each other over who's gonna like get to, I don't know, worship them. I mean, it's some fucked up shit. At which point, the guy who killed Ding's father originally is going to attack the blacksmith, and you've got this thing where everybody kind of converges under the same spot, and there ends up being this giant fight at the end at the blacksmith. And that's when there is some absolutely stunning action, because Ding figures out how to attach a chain to his sword and turns into the God of War. I mean, that is essentially what he is at that point. He's got the God Killer sword from God of War with the chain. He uses it the same way, and the action sequences with Ding from that point on become so entertaining. And the final fight between the flying villain, who is very fast as well, and Ding with his God of War sword is filmed. I mean, it's filmed so well to give you a sense of manic momentum that if anything, it makes me sad, because it makes me wish we had more of it earlier on in the movie. Because, like I said, it's like an hour and 20 minutes of backstory to get to the point. And I get why I just feel like I wish they could have tightened up the beginning of the movie and then kind of dragged out the last 30 minutes of the movie, because it gets good. It gets really good. And it's not that I didn't enjoy, it's just that the first hour and 10 and 20 is like people getting fucked up, Ding getting the shit kicked out of him, some heavy philosophical shit from the space cadet daughter, and then finally things really get rolling. And then I can't remember the last time I saw a sword fight that was like that fast and like that kind of a haywire fun, right? And then the movie's over. And it ends on one of these like weird like space philosophical notes about the nature of identity and people always wanting to challenge you and all this shit. And yeah, it's a weird flick. It's like an art house martial arts movie. It's the easiest way for me to describe it.
Yeah, I would differ a bit in that I wouldn't change anything about this movie. I think that what this movie is trying to do is so unique and different that if it were more martial arts, I think it loses what the soul of it is. It is a martial arts film second. And that's the important part. This is delving into philosophical stuff about, like you said, the nature of, if you become, this is a classic kind of Western idea. The fastest gun is the one everybody's gunning for. It's that idea. You become trapped.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ding tries not to fall into that trap too, because early
tries to
on,
leave. He tries to just sneak out.
Early on, when he's trying to help people, he wears a mask.
Right.
In the hopes that they won't know who he is. He doesn't want his own friends to know who he is.
Yeah. And I wonder if, because you were like, well, why is he hiding? And I thought about that, and I wonder if some of it was, if they just thought he was dead, then they wouldn't try to. I wonder if they were partially trying to bring him back because the master wanted him to take over and wouldn't accept anybody else. So if they think he's dead, the master goes to somebody else, and he's let out of this obligation. I don't know, but that's the thing is, I know what you're saying, and I know why you're saying it, but I would absolutely not change a thing about this movie, because outside of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which, like you said, is different, I have never seen a martial arts film that feels like this. This was imprinted. I was thinking about this movie for days after we saw it, because of the visuals and the kind of metaphor and the deliberation on the nature of, it's almost like she wished for something and didn't think what the consequences would be. So, at the end, she's just there, older, waiting for them to come back, but she's got
old
no
and alone.
life.
Yeah.
She's just sitting there smoking opium, waiting. And she's talking about how, that this has been a longer wait than most. And I'm sitting there going, does that mean one of them is dead?
Does that mean they're both dead?
Or are they both dead? Yeah, exactly. Did somebody finally catch up to them? And it's fascinating because, again, I struggle to think, besides Crouching Tiger, and I had said this in my short review. Hey, there may be others. Please tell me. I can't think of anything.
As bummer of an ending because she wishes the space cadet daughter that starts all this because she wants the green blade and she doesn't want to live in that world. She basically kills herself, possibly by making a wish. Now, you don't know if that wish works.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how magical that world is. But I mean, Chow Yun-Fat's character dies, and things kind of get grim.
And then she dives off of a bridge, says "make a wish," and jumps into the fog, and you don't know what happens.
Yeah, so
in this one, the girl gets her wish, and it wasn't what she thought. So it's almost like the opposite. It's strange.
Yeah. It's almost like they're all wishing in the wishing room.
Yeah, and another thing that I wasn't thinking about because when we were watching, because this movie was just such a surprise, I think to you as much as me, I was like, what the fuck? What is this? Because it starts off with the Golden Harvest logo, which we've seen in front of fucking Hard Boiled and shit. Yeah. Where you're like, and so this movie just kept doing surprising things. It never was what I ever thought it was going to be. But the idea of the one-armed swordsman is kind of a classic Hong Kong idea that's been done a lot of different ways. And one of the things that I read about this, because I was just curious about what people thought of this movie, and it bombed terribly because I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a martial arts film, and that's it. And it wasn't that. And one of the things that the director was trying to do was to take this classic masculine idea of the one-armed swordsman and warp it and say, okay, well, hold on though. What happens if somebody is so legendary and is missing an arm? Everybody with two arms is going to come after him.
Oh yeah,
that idea, and this concept of, again, the dream of this woman wanting these two men to go up and to fight each other over her. And, not thinking through what that actually means. Like, there's a lot of really interesting, rich material in here to think about. I kind of want to rewatch this movie almost soon, on my own, just to watch it, just to kind of, now that I know what it is, to just let it experience it again. Because I think I'll get more from it. Now that I don't have any expectations of it.
Now that you don't expect it to be any one thing. You're like, no, this isn't that. This is something else. I get it.
Yeah, this is something I would just sit back and go, okay, I want to see what this movie is saying to me. Whereas I was like you for a good, probably half, because there's a lot of setup, and I thought, okay, this is going to be a 50-50. 50% of this is setting up who these people are, and then they're going to go insane for the back half of the movie. No. And I think even the monk is a setup and a trap, like the bear trap, where I was positive that guy was going to be a big character through the whole movie. Dead 5 minutes later. Dead.
Yeah.
Brutalized and massacred.
Well, because its message is, if you are the type of person that attracts that kind of attention, then people will respond.
Yeah. So that is the thing, is at the end of this, I'm sitting here going, I came into this movie with an idea of what it was going to be, and it's not that. So if I watch it again, knowing it isn't that, will this be much more like something, I was thinking about like The Last Wave, or even S.T.A.L.K.E.R, where, if you read Roadside Picnic and watched S.T.A.L.K.E.R, you'd be like, what the fuck? What is this? Nothing's happening. Well, yes, things are happening, but it's not the book. Because you came in thinking it was going to be this thing that you knew.
To be fair, as a martial arts movie, there is decent martial arts throughout
Absolutely.
the movie.
Oh,
like, it's
yeah.
not like you don't get any. It's just that, I mean, once he gets that fucking chainsword, the movie's hilarious. But there is a series of all kinds of fights throughout. I mean, when they basically bear trap his arm. I mean, that sequence is brutal.
Oh, he's whipping the bear trap with his ripped off hand at him.
Yeah. But it's the whole idea that, violence begets violence. I mean, listen, we were just talking about this with the whole Supergirl thing.
Right.
Violence begets violence. So the
But
more
there
you
again,
lean into it, the more violence you get.
Even that reminded me of Crouching Tiger because it's not real. Like, the idea that he's whipping that bear trap around like that is magical. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
But you don't care because something like, and that scene too is just so beautifully filmed with all these bamboo sticks and they're just chopping through them and there's all this, and it's just like, it's a nonsense structure even. Like, I don't even understand what that structure was doing.
It verges on postmodern, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's what I mean about, now that I know what it is, I think I would actually like it immensely more on a second viewing because I'm like, okay, I know what this is and I know what it isn't. And now I want to really just kind of apply the psychology to it.
I'll tell you what it is. It's a Criterion movie. That's the fuck.
Boy, the fuck it is. That's what I mean about, man. I love Criterion, man. I love it.
And that's the thing is that when the Criterion logo came up at the beginning of this movie, my brain was already like, okay, what are we into here? Because this isn't a normal movie. It's kind of like watching.
But in fairness, Criterion also released a copy of The Rock. The Sean Connery movie.
Yeah, but you know what? That is not, listen, that's not the Criterion that I encounter.
Well, the thing is, that's the rarity. But they also did the Godzilla films. They did all the Godzilla
stuff
films.
that I encountered is like fucking Seven Samurai, the Criterion edition.
Oh,
it's less samurai.
Yeah.
It's shit like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
this was what I have at times over. You know how I've said, I was scrolling through and this just looked interesting and I watched it and it blew the fucking my fucking head out. That's this. So this was really good. I want to watch this again. So that's what I mean about I know what you mean about it, you wish there were more action in it. I don't. I like this as it is because it makes it something different.
And listen, I agree with you that on a second viewing, now that you know what's going on, you'll be able to spot more of the idea of of the message kind of early on in the movie, and you'll be able to just kind of get into it more.
I think I would get more.
I agree that a second viewing may be better.
Yeah, this is a rare case where I think
because the first time you
anything might be to your detriment going in.
Because the first time you're watching it, you're like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah. It is almost a subversion movie.
Because
and that's its intent, is to take this classic idea of these movies and apply something else to them.
Well, I mean, to some degree, that's what Crouching Tiger did, which is to say that sometimes being the best draws attention.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Crouching Tiger, if you actually want to boil away a lot of it, is about doomed romances.
Oh yeah,
it's really a Harlequin novel with higher pedigree.
Well, a lot of pop culture is.
I know, but a lot of it never transcends the Harlequin novel. Whereas Crouching Tiger is if you've never seen that, that's also that and this would be a wonderful double feature.
The scene when they fight in the bamboo.
Oh, it's
amazing. Is beyond. It's beyond a martial arts movie. It's one of the most beautiful sequences I've seen in a movie.
And then when Chow Yun-fat is poisoned, and he confesses to Michelle Yeoh that he always loved her.
Yeah.
It is planet-crackingly sad.
Yeah.
Because of the way the movie has presented these characters, and it's now doomed. Like, he waited till now.
Well, because he felt like because the whole thing was he felt like his duty and who he was made it that he could not.
Oh, I know. I know what I understand what it was, it's just awful.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Like when he kills that guy and then you see the dart in his neck, it is the worst thing.
It's a great movie.
But it's an amazing movie, and it's got the best ending that it could possibly have. When she jumps into the thing and just disappears.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people didn't like that.
Wish.
I'm like,
because the
you
thing is,
can't do anything else.
She's realized that she's fucked everything up, and she wants to make it better somehow.
Yes. And that to me is a direct mirror to the end of The Blade, where this woman, this old woman,
is
sitting there with nothing, smoking opium, and you don't know whether she's imagining these guys coming back or if they really are.
Or other blacksmiths anymore.
No,
the place just looks empty, closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's this kind of it's a melancholic martial arts film.
Yes.
It really is. And that's what makes it that's what I mean about that's what makes it special.
It's heroes, if you want to call them that, get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
So, like, these are people who end up, like, the main guy, I mean, he gets the shit kicked out of him until he realizes how to become a fucking sword tornado. And even then, I mean, that final fight between him and the main guy, like, that is not an easy fight for anybody.
No.
You know?
No.
So... Yeah.
And the flying, whatever his name was, the tattooed guy, just keeps pulling out these hidden blades on every goddamn thing on his body.
He splits his sword, and then he splits it again, and then he splits... I mean,
yeah. It's crazy. But
that's the reason that nobody had beat him at that point.
I love this movie, to be honest, because I have nothing to compare it to besides Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And it's rare...
Maybe you know what? Maybe it's a response to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Well, it came before.
Oh, did it
Crouching
really?
Tiger was 5 years later. Yeah, 95. Crouching Tiger is 2000.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
So if anything, Crouching Tiger is kind of a response to this.
Yeah, or an echo of it in a different way.
What year is this movie?
This is 95.
Just checking.
So The Blade, 1995, and then Crouching Tiger is 2000. Yeah. I always think Crouching Tiger is earlier than it is,
too. You said 1995, right?
95.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I was looking to see if Ang Lee had ever said anything about this movie, but he never did. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, they are different. They are different movies, but they do feel spiritually connected in their kind of exploration of.
Oh my God!
What is the cost?
Did you see the poster for this fucking movie?
Which one? The one where he's the painted one, or the one with the blade in the arm?
The one with the blade in the arm and the guys in the corner.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Is a phenomenal fucking poster. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, you know what? This poster best sums up this movie in its weird postmodern like setup with the blade and like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
God, what a wild flick.
Yeah.
So, in closing, whereas I should say anybody who's willing to have a fun time with Space Truckers, by all means, The Blade is far more a specific movie.
Well, I've got to me, the simplest thing.
Yeah.
If you really enjoy Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you will likely get a lot out of this movie. Especially if you wish there was more that was like that. Because there are people who... Look, I mean, you and I love Hard Boiled. I love Yes, Madam. Like, I eat that shit up. But for some people, martial arts films are boring because all it is a bunch of fighting. And the rest of it is kind of throwaway, which is true in some cases. The story is not always the strongest element. If you're somebody who wants to see something that's a little bit more rich in terms of the story it's telling, that again, I would be interested to how my wife would respond to this, because it does feel like a kind of love story, a doomed love story. And so if that's something that you would be interested to explore, if you liked Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and want something else that feels similar, I would recommend this.
Well, this director has some wild movies, I'll tell you that.
Yes, I looked that up, and I'm like, oh, got it. This is not,
he's got... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he was the producer on Better Tomorrow. That's hilarious.
Well, the guy, Ding, has been in a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he was the producer and the writer on a ton of stuff, but like,
Yeah.
Just the movies he's directed are fucking wild as well.
Right. So that's how I would reference it for people, because it's difficult to kind of compare to anything else. So a lot of movies you could say, well, if you like this, you like this. What?
Jesus, there's this movie he did called Journey to the West, The Demon Strikes Back, and just the look of it is fucking... Oh, is it a Stephen Chow movie? Oh! Hart directed it, but Stephen Chow is in it. And... yeah, there's some fucking weird shit going on here. This is a high magic martial arts movie.
The guy who plays the assassin, the tattooed guy, that dude's been in a ton of shit, and he looks wildly different in almost everything else. He looks like a Chinese mobster in much of his films. If you look that guy up and click on his IMDb thing, the first image next, like, he was in Double Team. He was in Black Mask. He's in Time and Tide, which is a very good movie that I haven't seen in a long time.
Oh, I remember Time and Tide.
Yeah, right? I haven't thought about that movie in a while.
Yeah, holy shit.
But it's a good movie. Yeah, you forget about it, right?
Yeah.
But, that guy was in a lot of stuff. God of Gamblers. Jesus Christ, that's back in the late 80s. Tiger on the Beat, a great Chow Yun-Fat movie. He was in that. This guy's been in some shit, man. Not always in, the top end of the cast, but he's there. But yes, that's as far as...
So who would you tell to see this movie?
If you like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, watch it. Or if you want to see a martial arts film that is really that's as much an exploration of the human condition as it is about people chopping each other up. And that sounds like a joke, but that's a tough balance, and I think this movie does it. Now, it's definitely heavier on the human element because it is more of a character study than anything else.
Yes.
Really. But it also does deliver some amazing action sequences, but they are definitely sprinkled. They are not constant. So it is a difficult film to recommend broadly, whereas Space Truckers, if you like science fiction, you're probably going to have fun with Space Truckers, whatever flavor you like. It's a fun one. You could just have a good time with that movie. You get a bunch of people together, watch that movie, and have a blast. This, The Blade, is a much more... It's a thinking movie. Not challenging. It's not a David Lynch film where you get to the end and go, It's not that bad. But it definitely makes you think about the nature of these characters, and it's hard to quantify it, but it has a weight to it in a positive way that I think a lot of movies of this type don't. To their benefit, they can be light, and that's, look, I'd watch Yes, Madam 80 times before I'd watch The Blade 5 times. But I can tell you that there will be times where I'm going to be in the mood to watch The Blade because I just want to I want to feel something atmospheric that is martial arts based. And outside of Crouching Tiger, which I've seen probably a dozen times, but it's too sad for me. This is less sad. It's more melancholic as opposed to sad. Like, I really get bummed out at the end of Crouching Tiger. It bums me out. It makes me sad, so I don't watch it very often. I'll watch clips of it, like the bamboo fight, or the tree fight, I mean. But I will not watch that movie beginning to end very often. I did more when I was younger, and I was like, this is something really interesting and different. Now it's just like, this is too fucking depressing. Whereas The Blade isn't depressing to me. It's more of just an interesting Eastern fairy tale. Almost like a Grimm's fairy tale of martial arts or something.
See that. Yeah.
And so it makes it unique. There are times where I'd be in the mood to watch this. Like, I don't know, if I had the whole day to myself and, I don't know, my wife's doing something or whatever, gone for the weekend, and, I'm a little bummed out because I'm missing her. And so I want to delve a little bit into kind of being like, you miss somebody that you want around, which is what this movie is about, is somebody missing people that she didn't realize she would actually be absent by the very nature of her wishing them to fight over her type of stuff. This would be that. Sometimes there's this concept, which I don't understand, but I've heard of, where there are people who will watch beaches, and I don't know why you would ever want to watch beaches. It's a fucking bummer. Why the fuck do you want to watch this movie about a woman dying of cancer? I don't get it. But people do it because they're in the mood to watch beaches, because they want to cry. Well, I'm never in the mood to cry. But could I see myself wanting to watch something about this woman who's haunted by a wish being fulfilled? You know,
people want to feel an emotion, and they feel like they're in a place where they can't. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. Whereas I don't know that I'll ever watch Crouching Tiger again. I think I've kind of gotten past that because it's just too much of a bummer as watching the whole movie. But I would watch this again because this doesn't make me sad. It's kind of like taking the idea of longing and putting it into a martial arts film. And longing can have sad elements, but it's not purely sad. Whereas Crouching Tiger, Chow Yun-fat's dead. He died right after telling this woman that he loved her, and now he's gone. And fuck you is my reaction to that. It is. It's just such a goddamn bummer to me. Like, it really bothers me. Yeah. Whereas The Blade, I'm like, well, that's kind of sad, but hey, maybe they'll come back. We don't know for sure they won't. They might. And maybe this time they'll stay. There's always the possibility. So, yeah, on that note, as Lando said, yeah, The Blade I liked a lot. It's not for everybody. Space Truckers, if the title sounds good, it's a fun time. Watch it. Fucking Space Truckers, Debbie Mazar. What do you want? How much can you ask out of life? No more than that. On that note, everybody, whatever you do with your weekend, hopefully it doesn't sadden you. Do something that makes you feel happy and fulfilled. Unless you like beaches, then watch beaches, I guess. But whatever you do with your weekend, have a good time with it. Unless you want to have a bad time with it, I guess. And on that note, maybe we'll be here next week. Maybe we won't. Somewhere someone is smoking an opium pipe, wondering if our show feed will update or if it won't. And much like Ironhead and Ding, it might and it might not. And on that note, enjoy your weekend. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes or to browse through our back catalog. Email questions or comments to ozonenightmare@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the show, visit supportourshow.com and select whatever option works best for you. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.